Edwards here.
Yes. Good. Good, Mark.
Okay. Okay. I want to welcome everybody this evening to the Bronx Community Board 11 Full Board Meeting, Thursday, October 26, 2023, at Maestro's Catering in the Bronx. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to our Sergeant of Arms.
All right. Face the flag. Right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay standing. Moment of silence for our fallen first responders, medical and military service personnel, for those suffering throughout the world. Thank you.
Okay, we are beginning our gallery session. The first speaker being Lauren Alschulzer from TLM and Sessions, Fitness and At-Risk Youths. Please come up to the podium. Oh. Oh, yes, thank you. The code of conduct.
Hello. Awesome. Thank you all for coming. Community Board 11 meetings must be held in professional and hostile-free environment. The following rules of conduct are applicable to members of the public, Community Board 11, and Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes with Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during any Community Board 11 meeting and may result in an individual or individuals being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing the peace and the appropriate authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is held remotely, the person may be muted or expelled of the remainder. Repeated action violations by the same person or group of people may result in further action by the community board. All public speakers must address the full board or the committee with their concerns. Electioneering for a position other than an officer of Community Board 11 is prohibited. Engaging in acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings pending review by the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. Respect the equality, diversity, and privacy of all persons by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant or disparaging remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment by actively discouraging it, and disseminating false information is prohibited. Also, a reminder, when it comes to the gallery, all speakers will be given 2 minutes. and I will let you all know at your 30-second mark to wrap it up. Please, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before you speak, I just would like to have those that are board members that are remote, please make sure that you have your videos on as compliance with our open meetings law. Thank you.
I would also say, are you looking?
Or you will be marked absent for attendance.
Okay, good evening, guys. So for me,
Wait, 1 second, 1
Can
second.
you take it up? Pick it up.
Wait 1 second.
He's got time. 2 minutes. And if you want, he'll give you a 30-second warning unless you want something. All right.
Let me know when you.
No, speak into the mic so everybody can hear you.
Yeah,
okay, so for me,
we got people online.
exercise is more than aesthetics. It's a way to teach yourself to adapt and grow from pain. What I want to do is I want to utilize exercise to help mental health issues, to address our community, to work with at-risk youth, and to deter crime. That's basically it. I want non-secure, secure detention centers. I want community events revolved around exercise programs. There's many ways that we can utilize fitness to change and enhance our lives. Any questions? So you have
Great.
Do you have any literature that we put out?
I don't have on, but I can bring.
If you can send it to the community board office, we could disseminate it out to the community.
Okay.
Thank you.
Definitely, thank you both.
Mike, Janice, microphone. Is it on?
Where are you located?
Sure, I'll be a green button and stay there. Green button.
Yeah, really? Where are you located?
At Bronx, I'm located in Morris Park.
Addresses?
Pelham Parkway.
1680 Pelham Parkway?
Yes.
Where else?
Westchester, Brooklyn. So I've done events all throughout the different boroughs. You're welcome.
No, I don't know, Jeremy, can you get to 7?
Go ahead.
1, 2, 3, yeah. So, quick question. So how many people are involved with it? Just you or you, when you're working with a group of people, for example, I know a lot of kids are involved. So you're gonna, what type of policy, screening and all that kind of stuff will be available for someone who wants to join and making sure that the coaches are screened and are actual people that have a background in athletics and training?
Okay, that's a great question. So I have all of my certificates. I'm actually working in the anti-crime unit within Queens to get a special cert just to work with non-secure and secure detention centers.
Right.
That's reimbursement thing. Anybody at grade award will have the same qualifications.
Okay, and they'll do a background check, all that kind of stuff will be, because you're working with youth, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, great.
Any other questions?
Yes. Can you leave me your info? I chair the education committee. Thank you so much. Yes. Anyone else?
Okay,
1 second. Could everybody please turn your phones off or put it on silent, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
so much. Okay, our next speaker is Aurea Manguel, DC 37, Retired Association, Medicare Health Benefits.
And before you start, so that looks good. Just, you want to almost put it to your mouth, all right? Remember, it's the people online especially, and the recording, which is based off of the online thing that we need, right? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello. Good evening. My name is Aurea Mangual, and I am a retiree of the Bronx Borough President's Office. I worked on the 3 administrations there, and I am now retired, working, not working, but volunteering for the District 37 retirees. That means District Council 37 retirees. Please excuse my back. And so I'm here tonight to ask for support from the board and the members about a serious and crucial issue that is happening with the public retirees in New York City. DC 37, UFD, and sanitation president, Naspoli, that's from sanitation, UFD, Mulgrew, and DC 37, Henry Garrido. Those are the three largest union in the city of New York, but they are 102 unions representing members and retirees. These three unions have such a large membership that the unions that will vote against the privatization of our Medicare health benefits can't fight them because they have the largest number. Retirees are not represented by any union. Retirees fall under the DC 37 union or council because the locals belong to DC 37. They are members of DC 37. We were members. We're not. They do not represent the retirees. But they made decisions in 2014 and 2018 with the former mayor de Blasio that they agreed to some kind of deal with the stabilization fund.
Thank you.
At that time, I asked for a point of privilege.
Microphone.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you again. So you're saying that a retiree's health insurance will change due to the union's decisions, correct?
They have a contract with Aetna, and they're working with something else now to privatize our health benefits. And that is no good for the present retirees and future retirees.
So how do you should we write to our local city council, Congress? What do
I
you
was getting
suggest?
to that. That's
Go
it.
ahead.
We have 8 council members in the Bronx, all Democrats, as far as I know. Not a single one of them have come to support this struggle with the retirees. We voted for them. We represent them. They represent us in our district, and they haven't come up to support this. I went and presented in Board 10 last week, and I saw Amanda Farias, Councilwoman Amanda Farias, and I spoke to her personally, and she gave me all this, I hate to say BS, but to put it frankly, that was all BS. Because she spoke on our behalf at different rallies, and she said that she was going to support the retirees, and then she flip-flopped. And I asked her straight up, my question is, are you supporting the retirees? Yes or no? These are the public servants that serve the city of New York. They did not serve themselves. You are a representative of a district that has one of the largest retirees in the city, Co-op City and this part of the Bronx. And you are not representing us. So she told me straight up that she was not going to support 1099. And the other ones, they did speak at different rallies that we went to, and they took the mic and everything was happy, blah, blah, blah.
I'm
And
sorry.
now that they have to come and support us, they don't do it. And they're all registered Democrats that we voted for them. And the
Hello?
votes that are
Is your ask is that you like us to send a letter in support?
excuse me,
You're asking to send a letter of support?
I am asking for that.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Is there a motion for that? Or how do you?
You can send me that right now.
Sorry, motion, okay.
And it
I have one.
Some question? All right,
Yeah,
one more question, because we do have a long list. We gotta get through this.
Okay. I promise, it's only one question.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, Mike.
It's on.
She's gonna make a motion.
How has this insurance switch affected the overall well-being and financial stability of the retirees?
I don't understand your question.
So they made a switch to the insurance, right?
No, there's not a switch yet. There's not a switch. In fact, we have won 6 times, 7 times last week in court, in the Supreme Court in New York City, Judge Frank Lyle ruled
Okay.
in our favor. 5 judges in the Fifth Circuit of Supreme Court Division rule in our favor, but they continue to appeal the case and appeal until they think that we're going to be depleted. We have a great law firm that is representing the retirees
So-
and future retirees and members. And we have to fight for this. This is a death and life situation for all of us. Look at us.
So then-
I'm 75 years
Build on
old.
What you're saying, right? Let me rephrase my question. If they win, how is this going to affect the financial stability of the retirees?
Well, retirees do not have most of us retirees do not have a large pension. But especially the people, you see the crossing guards, those ladies only receive like less than $1,000 in pensions, even if after they work 30 years. You know why? Because they work part-time and they have a family. They have dependents that depend on them. They do not receive a lot of money. I don't receive a big pension. I retired from the Borough President's office earning $57,000 after 27 years of service, which I serve very proudly, no complaints. I love my job. I care for my job. I was a union delegate. I love unions until they want to privatize this. What happened was that they did a deal where they gave $600 million to the UFT, and they never replenished the stabilization fund. And the stabilization fund was depleted, and so they figure that they're going to take it from the retirees. But guess what? Marianne Pisotolo is the lady
thank
that
you.
defended us.
We're gonna,
So
we're
there's
gonna
motion on the
discuss
table?
more later, you and I.
Is there a
I'd
motion?
like to make a,
Go ahead.
on,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion. I already have spent.
They're not hearing.
All right, Ari has sent us a whole list of motions, and we have them on file, and we would like the committee, I'd like to make a motion to agree to send that to the various.
Wait.
It's a letter of support to each of the councilmen, especially Marjorie Velasquez, who was in our district, and others.
All right, so just.
Thank you.
So just.
It's in the city council.
Okay,
All right,
so to be
one
clear, Sandy, you didn't have a quorum, that's why you're making a
Right.
motion tonight.
Correct.
To send a letter of support on behalf of the retirees to our elected officials.
Okay, so just,
Go ahead, Sandy.
That Ari has sent us, with all of the points to be made.
So yeah, so there's
We haven't
there's a template we'll send out to everybody before we sign off on it. Malcolm?
yeah, so just to follow rules of order, we can make that motion at new business. So we do have to get through the rest of the gallery. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll wait till new business to make that motion.
I could do it during the health report if you want. That's maybe.
New business.
Okay.
Big-
Well, hold on. What's that based on, Malcolm?
Is Robert Rules of Order. The committee did not have quorum, so you guys don't have business. So for a chair's report, it doesn't make any sense. But since it's going to be new business and the full board has to review it, it has to go into new business.
Okay, versus their report.
Versus their report. Correct, because they didn't have a motion in the report.
Okay. Or old business, since they did discuss it in committee, even though they didn't have a quorum, they did meet.
It should be health.
Make
All
it
right,
old
all right,
business.
so old business then, but we have to get through the.
Either one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Does that make sense to everybody? Our
I don't know
bylaws
what
do
they-
say we do have to follow Robert's Rules of Order when it doesn't specify it.
So you want me to make the motion again under new business? Is
Yeah,
that-
to follow Robert's Rules of Order, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Bernadette.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody can stay so I can make the motion.
Okay, next is Gloria Russo, Friends of Pelham Parkway.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about the project for Pelham Parkway. I'd like to ask that the pedestrian path remain the same. It's not widening, but it is just fixed. we have a pathway, a pedestrian pathway, that it is in very bad conditions. It gets all muddy and it is not feasible anymore when it rains. So I'd like to ask for just to fix the pathways that we already have without widening them. Because I would also like to keep as much green as there is in our beautiful park. And I would also like to ask not to widening it to make a bike lane, because already as it is the path, it poses a danger with all these mopeds that are going around in the parks when we have a small pathway. If we have a bigger bikeways, it will be many more of them. And children and elderly will be at risk because, these mopeds do pose a risk when they go fast. And then I would like to ask that they do not move the seats from the Pelham Parkway South and Wallace Avenue. I think that those seats are really important for the community. They've been there for a long time. They are a place of gathering for the community and, gathering and playing chess.
Thank you.
Some questions.
Any questions?
I have one more ask. Can I?
No.
For the,
You can respond to her question. Let her
All right, I have a question. The bike path, is it paved or is it just plain soil? Because you said when it floods, it gets muddy.
we now have a pathway and it is paved in very bad conditions. It's deteriorated. It's all pothole.
Oh, so then you want it repaved? You would like,
I want it to be fixed. There is a plan,
but not widened.
excuse me?
Fixed, but not widened.
Yes, the plan is a big plan that entails, to widen those lanes and make them bigger, take away a lot of trees. What I'm asking is just fix what we have. It's much easier and it doesn't pose the risk of, luring more mopeds. There is a lot of mopeds around in the park. And then I just ask for the fountain on White Plain and Wallace Avenue. It was promised to the kids.
All right,
Yes.
thank you. There you go. All right.
Hi, gallery members. I just ask when you're speaking at the podium, keep an eye over by Malcolm. He's going to hold up the sign that says 30 seconds so you're not abruptly interrupted during your speaking. So just while you're speaking, just keep an eye over there for your 30-minute warning. Thank you. Sorry, 30-second warning.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Charlene Jackson, CB11 constituent. Continued failure of Community Board 11 to notify the community, smoke shops seeking businesses in the community, Pelham Parkway.
Sorry, it's Charlene Jackson Mendez. Community Board 11 continues to fail to meet its responsibility to actively engage residents of the community. The public deserves an opportunity to weigh in on the desirability of cannabis shops in the community. Various community members have repeatedly expressed their dismay at the lack of proper notice regarding matters of importance to the community, to no avail. How can board members adequately advise our elected officials about the wishes of the community when they only speak to politically like-minded members of their partisan cliques? The board, and as currently configured, emphasizes divisions without ever acknowledging the common values that many members of our community share. Many members of our ethnically diverse community share, such as an emphasis on hard work and a desire for quality education, responsibility for one's own family, and the wish to live in a safe and clean community. Continuously failing to engage the diverse voices of our community leads to apathy and disenfranchisement among residents of the community and groupthink within the board. Additionally, the community board needs to ensure that its members adhere to its own code of conduct. I, as well as many others, have been deeply offended by the use of profanity, obscene gestures, and the N-word by members of the board. Do the elected officials that appointed these members stand by these behaviors? Is there no respect for the community you serve? There must be accountability. We need board members that demonstrate respect for the communities they volunteered to serve.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
would
you.
like to support everything that was said regarding Pelham Parkway.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
I would like to know more about what you were just gonna say about Pelham Parkway.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I just wanted to support really our seniors and children who are in desperate need of green space. The benches that are at Wallace Avenue and Pelham Parkway South are used by the elderly primarily for socialization, and we don't want to take away that joy that's in their lives. And I also wanted to just say we should not widen the sidewalks with more concrete because that will invite noise pollution, more e-scooters, and just take away from the serenity of the area that all of the East Bronx, many members of the East Bronx enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is Kevin Deloya, Community Board 10 constituent. Additional comments and question.
Bless you.
So that comes after.
Want a 1 minute and a 30?
Hello, everybody. A lot of new members here. It's great to see this community board, one big entity here tonight. Although I can't believe we almost missed the code of conduct again this evening. I'm not going to get into the details of an apology letter that was introduced over a year ago. A just home issue with the code of conduct that happened over a year ago, and an apology letter that has been the outcome of that complaint that I made. But that being said, I just want to say a few more words about it. On July 24th, the board chair wrote this as a prelude to an apology, what she considered an apology, not a letter of regret. This is what was written. Many of our board members were in favor of this, others were not, and a small percentage felt they should not apologize for something they did not participate in or were not even present for. Second paragraph said, Community Board 11 is made up of a lot of diverse members possessing just as diverse opinions. No one should experience retaliation when expressing their opinions. Here is the letter of
1 minute.
sincere regret from the chair of Community Board 11. But I think that we'll hear tonight, as we have heard this week in leadership and ethics, that many board members feel that they were sideswiped, disregarded, and some of their suggestions were not considered for that letter. Now I'm going to talk about Pelham Parkway and/or the Moshulu Parkway, Greenway. Moshulu Pelham Greenway, which is not a pathway, it is a greenway. It's part of the East Coast Greenway. And I'm all for widening, smoothing it out, and making it safer. Actually, if they did widen it, then they would make it identifiable as a bike side and a pedestrian side. And making things predictable makes things safer. They would have to, of course, make up the acreage somewhere else. That's just the policy. If they take land away, they need to replace it. And I think this decision that you make on this tonight, if you make a decision on this tonight, should stay in parks, far from transportation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Don't leave, Kevin.
Mr. Deloya, in your opinion, is the Greenway handicap accessible?
If we're going to talk about from Stillwell Avenue to where it ends, Moshulu, let's just stick to the piece that we've been talking about, I guess, White Plains to Stillwell Avenue. Yeah, there are handicapped sidewalk accessibilities, and it's It goes end to end. I would say the problem is that there are a lot of bumps,
Mhm.
hills, potholes, probably you consider what I've seen there, potholes. And as a rider, I could probably ride over some of that heavily. But somebody in a wheelchair would have a difficult time. Our good friend Eric lives right there and his mom and grandparent take wheelchairs along there often.
Right. So would you say that for someone who's elderly or, walking with some sort of assistance, would that be dangerous for them?
If anybody's familiar with the area from White Plains Road on the Pelham Moshu Greenway, the first, I would say, 500 yards has been recently repaved and redone by the city a couple of years back. It's a little wider, it's not marked, but that is nice and smooth. It's a little bit of a hill. So that would be nice for an elderly or handicapped person to walk around on. But then it ends after 500 feet and it becomes an older, I mean, I don't want to say 10, 20, 30 years, asphalt, cracking, rotten, tree stumps coming through it throughout the next mile and a half towards Stillwell Avenue. So that wouldn't be as safe or comfortable, and it's not. And as a bike rider, young lady behind me here, it's not that dangerous. I'm maybe different than most. I'll hit a bell, I'll whistle, I'll let people know I'm coming, I'll slow down. I'll take the dirt side if I'm going to pass somebody and they're not moving. Make sure that they know I'm coming. That's the main thing. But that desired path that is on the side of it is because a pedestrian might not feel safe, a bike might not feel safe. So the thing, obviously it's obvious that it probably needs to be wide.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this quick. I'm sorry.
Just a quick question. When you received the letter, was the letter on letterhead, the apology letter?
I somehow I'm going to pick dates, 21st, 28th. I just spoke about the 24th a moment ago. That the first time I saw it, it came from the chair to the board staff and sent out by the board staff as an attachment. And then somehow later on, I got one from the board, but not the staff. I don't know, maybe Jeremy probably, that did contain the official letterhead. I will say that the board chair had said she'd done that because I had mentioned it. And as far as the ethics committee, who did a great job along it, they also took a lot of my advice during the process. So they did a great job there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Nope. Let's proceed. David Nickpoxy, excuse me if I mispronounced that, founder and CEO of Freshly Baked NYC. It's a motion before the board, and if I'm correct, he is online.
That is correct. Hello, good evening, everyone. First and foremost, let me extend my gratitude for the opportunity to speak to you tonight and for your consideration of our business. I will try to be brief.
David, hold on. So, okay, so you remember you have 2 minutes. You'll get a 30-second warning unless you want something else. And now you ready? Ready, Malcolm?
I'm ready.
Okay, so start again, please, sir.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, let me extend my gratitude for the opportunity to speak to you tonight and for your consideration of our business. I'll try to be brief. David Nickpotsky, the founder and CEO of Freshly Baked NYC. We are thrilled at the prospect of joining this vibrant community, and I assure you that we do not take this opportunity lightly. Due to unfortunate but immovable scheduling constraints, I was unable to attend the gallery session in person, but I'm en route now and should be present for the second part of this meeting. I'll also stick around after.
Oh, what happened? Oh.
I did.
Okay. What's there?
Let him know he's frozen.
David, you froze us like 30 seconds ago.
And we lost you.
We can't hear you. All right. So we'll come back to you.
Okay.
How much time did you?
We had 1 minute and 35 seconds left.
So basically 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Okay.
Okay.
that's fine. All right, Bernadette?
Yep. Okay, we'll come back to David. Next is Janet Guerrera, Community Board 11 constituent with regards to Pelham Parkway.
Good evening to all. My name is Janet Herena. As a resident and a small business owner in Pelham Gardens, Pelham Parkway section of the Bronx, I have experienced and witnessed many changes that have negatively impacted on our community. During the last few years, it has been a constant battle for our community to preserve our park. Now, once again, Pelham Parkway is at risk of losing more green space and of converting into a dangerous illegal highway to speeding scooters, motorcycles, and mopeds, as if we don't have enough of that on our regular streets. Widening the pathway to deter such strict traffic will just put park pedestrians and the general public at a higher risk of getting struck and seriously injured. Also, it is going to attract more crime activity to the park, something that we have been seeing a lot lately. Please leave the Pelham Parkway South streets alone. They don't need to be relocated to the north side. Why spend money unnecessarily? Instead, you should concentrate and work collectively into fixing the potholes on the existing pathway and on the installation of the water fountain on Wallace and White Plains Road, as our community children work extremely hard to collect all petitions to win the participating budgeting. We own them.
30 seconds.
We owe them the park safety as well. Work on ways to secure the park and not the opposite. When our elected officials and city planners going to start taking upon their job seriously and start analyzing all these projects with reasoning and common sense? It seems that in recent years, we have to constantly fight an agenda that want to strip us from the things that do make sense to a community and are necessary for people, like safe park, where people. Thank you.
Okay,
Any
stay,
questions?
just
I'd like you to
wait
finish
there.
what-
Is there any questions?
I would like her to finish what she was saying.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, will you please?
Thank you. It will be quick. It seems that in recent years, we have constantly fight and we have to constantly fight as a community, an agenda that wants to strip us from the things that do make sense to us and are necessary for people, like a safe park where people can relax, exercise, socialize, and kids can be kids safely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think we're.
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing. Testing, 1, 2. Currently, how wide and approximately, or do you know, is the pathway now? And is it used for mostly walking, jogging, or biking currently right now? What are they using it for?
Currently, right now, can be used for all of those things. I walk in the park. And I do it with people that rides on the bike, they whistle, you move to the side if necessary, and they go up on their way. However, we're gonna see, and we have been seeing an increase on mopeds running to the pathway. And widening that pathway is gonna exacerbate that.
So you don't think if you widen it, you'll be safer because they'll have a pathway to go?
No, sir, not at all.
No, I'm just curious to know your opinion.
My personal opinion, being someone that utilizes that to walk,
Right.
it's not gonna help someone like myself or anyone else here that uses the park to walk, exercise, or just get home safely. It's not gonna help us.
So currently, are mopeds going on that pathway now?
All kinds of stuff are going through there right now, as it is.
Ms. Helena?
Yes.
I just wanted to give you the reassurance that a number of us from the community board did meet with Parks last week, and we did a pretty extensive walkthrough, and we brought those very concerns that you have brought to us today to the people from the Parks Department. So we are listening, just so you know.
Thank you much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other questions? So much. Got it. Next in line is Charlene Slater, and if I'm correct, Community Board 11. She is online.
let her know the process, Jeremy?
To Charlene Slater?
All right, okay.
Okay, is
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
where?
Hello?
Hello? Okay, Charlene?
I'm sorry, someone muted me and I couldn't come off mute. So I want to thank you for giving me this chance to speak. I am an over 20-year resident of this community, and it has become such a disgraceful place to walk, just walk. I represent Paws on Pelham Parkway, which is a local dog group or pet group. And every day I use Pelham Parkway. And the e-scooters or the e-bikes that go through that parkway at such speeds, it is extremely dangerous, not only to a person like me, a pedestrian, but to the pets. I implore you, please do not widen these pathways, because all that's going to do is create more motorized vehicles on the pathway. And it's uncomfortable. I can't tell you how many times I almost get hit on my daily walk that's only 45 minutes long. It's really uncomfortable as a pedestrian. And as a second note, Paris, right? A very eclectic city. They have banned e-scooters. So if they can do it, we can do it for our elderly, for just normal able-bodied people like myself, and people who are walking their pets. It's just, it's become unlivable.
30.
I'm sorry? It's become unlivable. And please don't change the parkway, because the elderly sit in those little benches. Just keep them where they are. It's a waste of money. Use it somewhere else. That's my 2 cents, and I want to thank you for giving me this time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? No. Thank you so much. We're on, I, CB11 constituent who opposes the removal of the benches and opposes widening of the walkway on Pelham Parkway. Eileen, are you online? We're checking.
It's *6 to unmute, Eileen, *6. Send a request.
Hello?
Yep,
Hel-
we can hear you.
Hello?
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I'm hearing some recording. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in
I
the
am on the
meeting-
phone. I'm on the phone, and then the recording gets on, and I don't know. You can hear me though now.
Yeah, we can hear
Okay.
you fine.
Okay. Yes, I just would like to reiterate that that I feel they should leave the benches where they are and not move them. I use them in the summer. Sometimes the north side is filled up on a nice day, and I use them, and they're comfortable over there, and they've been painted, and I see no reason to move them. Also, I just agree with the statements about not widening the pathway because it will bring more of the motorbikes, the mopeds onto the walkway and endanger the pedestrians. So I agree with that that we should and just the general scooters that are going around are dangerous. I'm very anxious about getting hit. I see sometimes two people on a scooter, people riding fast, and And I think we should definitely not widen the pathway. And I just, I can't really, I think the other speakers were very eloquent about it, and I'd just like to reiterate that I think that do feel that it would be more dangerous, and we'll just be welcoming more of those bikes. And I don't think we should have two parts of the pathway, which somebody mentioned. I
Okay,
don't think pedestrians and motorbikes will work together.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Eileen.
That's my opinion.
Okay,
Okay,
hang in there. Do we have
thank you for
questions
letting me
for
talk.
Eileen? Questions? Okay, on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Bruce Donald from Southern New England Manager, East Coast Greenway for the Greenways.
Bruce could not be here. I signed up.
What's your?
Oh, well, then, all right, and you represent Bruce, whatever, so.
Say your name and who you represent.
Yes. My name is Eric Gonzalez. I have a letter here from Bruce Donald, Southern New England Manager of the East Coast Greenway Alliance. He could not be here with us tonight. But he writes this letter, Dear Parks Committee members, CB11, regarding the poor condition of the Pelham Parkway Greenway, we urge the Parks Department to resurface and widen this important multi-use trail. The condition of this facility is not conducive to its function as a vital community amenity, but also as a connective, active transportation corridor. We respectfully request that the Parks Department repave the entire stretch in 9 to 12 foot width from Wallace Avenue to Stillwell Avenue. The East Coast Greenway views the Pelham Parkway Greenway as a major connective trail serving the regional needs of a dense population. Commuting bicyclists need proper safe facilities, and currently this greenway falls short of that. This project needs to be prioritized to give locals safer access to public transportation, schools, and other community resources. As the mayor has announced an official citywide greenways upgrade, we believe you could likely find additional funding. This trail connection is an important part of the East Coast Greenway, a transformative infrastructure project of national and regional significance. It is an integrated recreation and transportation corridor for safe walking and biking, stretching 3,000 miles from Maine to Florida, connecting our nation's most populated corridor. Currently, 36% of it is built, transforming the areas it connects through active, healthy lifestyles, sustainable transportation, community engagement, climate resilience, economic development, and more. It offers a safe place for bicyclists, walkers, and runners of all ages and abilities to commute, exercise, and visit new destinations. The East Coast Greenway Alliance looks forward to, with optimism, to seeing the Pelham Parkway Greenway resurface and widen in the near future.
I have a question.
Thank you.
I have a question.
I'd like to leave a letter with the chair.
I do have a question. I have never heard of this group. Can you give us a brief description as to what your organization does and who you guys are?
So again, the East Coast Greenway is one of the major bike paths / trailways. In this case, it connects Maine all the way to Florida. We're fortunate in this area to have to be part of the section of the East Coast Greenway. The Pelham Parkway, Mashulu Parkway Greenway forms part of it. As mentioned here, it is a multi-use trail. So it's not just for cyclists, it's for runners, walkers of all ages.
I have a question.
Yes. My name is Eric Gonzalez.
It was an environmental impact study done on that area to make sure of what new things you want done and how it will affect the whole environment surrounding the area. I'm not touching a button. I asked if an environmental impact study was done affecting the whole area, not only the walkway, but everything surrounding the work that you will be done, that will be done, and will accompany rebuilding this walkway or greenway or whatever.
So I don't have that information, but, I know that, the Alliance has been heavily invested in all sections, throughout.
But I want to know how it impacts that.
Again, I don't have that information.
That's Parks Department.
That'll be part to do that. Yeah.
And he doesn't for a company.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Do we have,
I'm sorry, I think there's still confusion as to, for example, like, we know who Friends of Pelham Parkway is, but I think there's still confusion as to what your alliance is, like, who is your group? Like, where are you guys from? What is your mission? Things that, I think that's what we're trying to understand.
Just read Bruce's letter. Can I answer that question?
No.
Asking him.
Yeah. So again, I'm reading this letter on behalf of Bruce.
Okay.
As a user of this Greenway myself, and I would say, like, other community members as well, like, this is an access way that is used by, like, many people for many uses, and so there are members throughout the East Coast that, like, do work along this Greenway in many different ways.
That's not the answer.
Just so everybody, I think, is clear, first of all, this young gentleman is not working for a company. Greenway, the East Coast Greenway, like, and that is a federal program. It looks like he's speaking for the Southern New England manager of the Greenways, but that is something that the Pelham Parkway and Marshalloo Greenways are part of the general.
We understand that. I guess we're trying to understand who the Southern New England manager is. We want to know more about the group, not about we understand what you just said, but more about the group. Who's the group?
So the East Coast Greenway Alliance is based in Connecticut. However, I'll just read the statement here. So it's a nonprofit group that leads the development of a trail network. It works for hundreds of volunteers, partner organizations, and officials of the local, state, regional, and national level to continue moving more of the route onto protected paths. Together, we're connecting people to nature, communities via safe, accessible greenways.
And it's like, do you have a chapter in this community, in this district? It's like a chapter thing that's going on? Like,
They're volunteer members,
Okay.
yes, in the local community.
all right, thank you.
okay. All right, thank you so much. I do have a quick question. When does this total Greenway have an estimated ETA of being done? What is their proposed date? Is there, if you don't know that, that's fine.
I don't know the entire percentage. Not all of it is necessarily a greenway like it is here. Some sections are paved or on the road. But the plan is to eventually have the majority of it, just a greenway as it is here.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Abdullah Saleh, American Center for Human Rights and Social Services, introducing our new nonprofit organization. Are you in person or online? Not here? Okay. We'll move on to the next.
Is David online? Is David online?
We'll come back. He's in the house.
All right.
He's coming back in person. Okay, so we have our next speaker is Dawn H., Pelham Parkway friend, about the seats and benches on Pelham Parkway.
No, no, no.
We have so many right now. Okay, we'll come back if you want.
I just want to say that I agree with everything that was said about the parkway, about having the benches and stuff removed, and also about not widening the parkway. I'm in support of everything that has been said so far. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, now our next speaker is Ed Murphy, Friends of Pelham Parkway.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to piggyback on what's been said for Friends of Pelham Parkway. We need to decide what we want in our community. We can't have outsiders. I don't know what this group is, but not to knock them. The benches have been there for years, utilized by the old timers and mothers with babies, right? We need them there. The pavement should not be extended because right now, all the e-bikes are using it as a way, and I hate to say, they pick up the drugs on White Plains Road from the smoke shops and utilize the pathways there. They speed through where the old timers play checkers. There's nobody watching, you know? So we want to widen a pathway. It doesn't make sense. We need to repave it and take it from there. Also, we're promised, we have kids out there helping a petition set up from Marjorie's office to have a water fountain installed on the Greenway where Wallace Avenue and Pelham Parkway North is. That hasn't materialized, and now there's word that it might be moved to somebody else. We were out there, we taught the children how to utilize the system to get something. They look at us like, what happened? We don't want them to grow up like that. There's enough of that out there. It's great that we get these kids and they want to do planting, cleanups. They want to get petitions signed. Nothing. So I thank you for your time. I hope that we don't have to have this discussion any longer and that something comes out of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions? We have a question.
I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Ed Murphy, Pelham.
Mr. Murphy.
Ed Murphy, Pelham Parkway.
Mr. Murphy, I heard time and time again from your group that there are mopeds, did I hear, scooters speeding through there currently?
If you guys.
I'm sorry. Can you let me finish my question?
Sure.
So as it is, right, you have, these people speeding through the walkway, correct?
Correct.
Have there been any accidents?
I don't know, maybe Roxanne has something on that, but
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay,
But
gotcha. But I hear.
I witnessed two people getting hit right there on the Wallace Avenue,
Right.
Pelham Parkway.
So as it is, it's dangerous.
It is.
Right. So here's my question to you. Explain, if you could, or give me your opinion. Do you think that this is an issue of how wide the path is, or is it enforcement on whether the scooter should be on the Greenway?
Let's be real. If we expand that, you're just giving more way for these scooters. Right now, they travel, if you're out on the street, you see how these scooters, use the streets, they use the parkway. If you go out to the parkway and spend maybe a half hour, you'll see what we're talking about, why we don't want this widened, why we keep complaining, why we regurgitate.
And as a follow-up, the community board did go out and there was a mixed bag, because you talked about community input. There's a mixed mixed input about what we should do with the Greenway. And there is almost 50-50, correct, Cynthia, as you said? Where people do want the path widened.
I don't know where those people, what neighborhood they live in, but the Pelham Parkway area, We don't need that.
Mhm.
We really don't need.
That's your opinion.
That's my,
Gotcha.
that's why I'm up here,
Gotcha.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So with regards to let me take this off because I'm listening and I'm present at the same time. So with regards to the Greenway, we're talking about White Plains and Pelham all the way through exactly,
Up to, where's that going?
Stillwell.
Williamsbridge, up to Stillwell.
Stillwell.
There's parts of this, definitely needs repaving, but we do not need it widened.
Right, no, I understand that. I just want to know a start and an end, so.
So from White Plains Road up to Stillwell.
Okay, so my second question, in regards to the fountain, you noted that there were children that were polled or, brought into this, sort of asked about this fountain. I'd like to know when this happened, like what
This
year?
was the first year that Marjorie took office. She supposedly had extra money in her budget. She asked us what we needed for the Greenway. And we told her, the water fountain for people to utilize, the runners, the bicyclists, and so on. We also were supposed to get tree guards on Kruger Avenue. They never materialized. I called her office, she knows nothing.
I'm sorry, I'm a little hard of hearing. So you said Kruger?
Kruger Avenue, yes.
Kruger.
Kruger Avenue South.
So it would be, the fountain was promised where?
For Wallace Avenue and Pelham Parkway North. It's where the benches are right there.
Where was this promise made?
This promise, excuse me?
It's
Let
fine,
me
it's fine.
speak, you'll
Sir,
have
sir,
your time.
sir, right here.
Um,
Where
This, all the ballots can be retrieved from Marjorie Velasquez's office.
My question is, where was this promise made? Because it seems like there was a
Where
meeting.
or when?
Yes, where and when?
Where was for Wallace Avenue and Pelham
No,
Parkway North for the water
right.
fountain.
My question is, you said that there was a meeting. So I'm asking, where was this meeting and when was it? And
This
how did
need,
you
this
get
need is
involved?
going back to her first year in office. It was discretionary funds that were left over. She asked the community, it wasn't only us, it was Morris Park. There was a couple of other areas that was on it.
Was
Hazel
it
might have seen
participatory
it.
budget? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and the two items never materialized. When I call her office, the staff that answers it knows nothing,
Now that it.
you know?
Information.
It's an ongoing thing with our office to get through or get some kind of adult-like answer,
All right, thank you.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next in line is Roxanne Delgado, Friends of Pelham Parkway. You have the mic.
Evening. I'm the founder of Friends of Pelham Parkway. And the most thing I'm proud of is not the gardens that we build, not all the events we've done, not the cleanups. What I'm proud of is that we develop a community in Pelham Parkway. We have people who have invested interest now in the Greenway. As you can see, a few of them here. That is what I'm proud of because we did it as a community, not me, not her. We did it as a whole. So but I was part of that movement and I'm proud to be part of my community. This is about community, what they want and how they use the park. How it was meant to be used is not always how it's being used. Right now, the pathway is fine for pedestrians and cyclists. We never have issues with them. But since the e-scooters were introduced into Greenway, it has opened the Pandora box for illegal vehicles that are speeding beyond 20 miles per hour, some even at 40 miles per hour. When we're going to make it wider, not only will we lose green space, and someone said that it'll make it up elsewhere, but as you know, that area is mostly NYCHA residents. We already have sidewalk paved to adjacent to a parking area. Why is it that our area always loses green spaces? Our area is the working poor. It's undocumented. It's NYCHA residents. One thing about me is that I do listen to my community. This is not Roxanne Delgado's opinion. This is all the things that people are telling me. I can tell you the majority, not 50-50, overwhelming 90% at least, and I have a petition with 1,000 signatures online, 200 on paper and pen, and I could get more. People has over and over again, leave things alone, just fix all the potholes because someone asked about ADA. We do approve Site B, which makes Jacoby ADA accessible, because we want to make the pathway open to all users, including the disabled or the able. But the point is that we don't want to open the pathway to illegal vehicles. We can say enforcement every year. Parks reduces the number of enforcement. I don't have to tell you. Anyone who calls Parks enforcement, you're lucky if you get one, especially during the summer. This is about safety and enjoyment for everyone, not just for me, because I might not even be in Pelham Parkway next year. It's about the future of Pelham Parkway. We want to continue building, not just me, but the generation of Pelham Parkway residents. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Roxanne? Questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up is Diana Finch. About the Pelham Parkway Greenway.
Ready?
Yeah.
First, on the licensed dispensary review by the board, OCM guidelines state, in New York City, a community board may express an opinion for or against the granting of such license. If an opinion is expressed, it shall be deemed part of the record upon which OCM makes its recommendation to the Cannabis Control Board to grant or deny the application. And the board shall respond to such community board with an explanation of how such opinion was considered in the granting or denial of an application. I urge the board to submit a detailed opinion. For example, while we have no objections to the application from Freshly Baked, we would give preference to an applicant from the Bronx and from the district. On the Pelham Parkway Greenway, what I would like CB11 members to know, other segments of this Greenway in Bronx Park, at Starlight Park, by East 174th Street in the Sheridan, in Community Board 6 and 3, in Shoelace Park by East Gun Hill Road and Bronx Boulevard in CB 12, and east of Stillwell Avenue all the way to Orchard Beach in CB 10. These segments are smooth and wide, clearly marked to divide pedestrians from cyclists. Here in CB 11, we deserve for Pelham Parkway, one of the most heavily used segments of the Greenway, to be the same. The Parks Department, who knows it's a bike path, this is clearly labeled on page 15 of their design plan, has stated they will not widen the Greenway anywhere that would interfere with roots of existing trees. The Parks Department mandate does not allow them to sacrifice trees for pavement. Cyclists, e-scooter, and e-bike riders do need to use proper etiquette for sharing space with pedestrians, which means calling out or ringing a bell as they approach from behind and always passing on the left. Groups such as Transalt have committed to doing public education outreach on the Pelham Parkway Greenway to make sure that riders learn and follow these rules.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, I have a question. So my question, there we go. My question is, I know the areas that you're bringing up with Starlight Park, the ones in Community Board 10, et cetera, but in comparison with Pelham Parkway, am I correct to understand that there is much more traffic? Because I've biked those areas, and by Community Board 10, by Orchard Beach, et cetera, Starlight Park, there's not as much congestion and traffic as it is in Pelham Parkway. So wouldn't that make a difference in the decision that the community wants?
The two things that the Parks Department are weighing are the trees, the place of the trees, and they're not going to widen the Greenway anywhere where it would interfere with the roots of the trees. But there is a standard that, for instance, the East Coast Greenway uses, which is 10 feet wide, but in areas that are heavily populated, like the Bronx, it's 12 feet is the standard width for a greenway that is both a pedestrian and a bikeway.
And right now,
wherever they can make it 12 feet wide, that's what they would do.
So right now, the Greenway is 10 feet, it's not 12 feet. Am I to assume that?
I haven't measured it. I think it might even be less than 10 feet because you could see on either side. It's too narrow because you can see that either side, people have worn the desire paths that
Okay.
then flood and get all muddy when it rains. So clearly people need it wider.
Okay, thank you.
Diana, I think that we might be dealing with two issues here. I've walked that path many times, and I have to be very cautious because it hasn't been repaired in quite some time. And I've also, as a gentleman mentioned earlier, that bikes have either gone up and around to go past pedestrians, or pedestrians have had to get out of the way because the path is not wide enough. I think that that might be a separate issue because it's definitely in need of repair and possibly in need of widening. I think the e-bikes and the mopeds might be a separate issue because they've been pretty much out.
And to respond to you, the motorbikes and the mopeds do not go on the pathway, the Greenway, because it's too narrow and it's too rough. And they want to go fast, so they go on the road where it's smooth and open. What are on the Greenway are e-bikes and e-scooters that don't typically go quite as fast.
Thank you.
We got one more question.
Hello? Yes. Everything, people that walk, the people that came to the, can you raise your hands? We had a walkthrough on Pelham Parkway. Not only were people walking, people were riding, scooters were there, and everything else. So cannot say only people that are walking. I had to hold on to my dear friend because I could barely walk properly. All right? There's a school for the blind on Pelham Parkway. Guess what? If I am 74 years old and I can barely make it, think about people with canes that are vision impaired. What would happen to these people if you have somebody behind you that does not ring a bell or anything else to pass? What would happen to those young people or the elderly? Everything comes on those paths, okay? Thank you.
Like I said, there are groups like Transportation Alternatives who have thousands of members throughout all of New York City who are willing to do a public outreach campaign on Pelham Parkway to teach the riders the proper etiquette and how to behave around pedestrians.
Any other? Please.
That's it? Okay, I'm done. Do you really think
Any
that,
questions?
yeah, do you really think that people,
Go ahead, James.
go ahead. Do you really think that people are gonna take the training? Do you really think everybody's gonna take the training? That's not gonna happen.
Well, I think that Transalt people are cyclists. They're black and brown. They live in the neighborhood. They're here tonight. I think they'll be able to interact with the people who ride on the parkway. They could speak languages, Spanish, the deliveristas.
All right, thank you. All right.
All right. All right, thank you. All right, our next speaker is Grace Lavaggio Marrera.
Hello. Just remember that our bylaws say 4 questions, all right?
David is still here.
Yes, no,
Ready to go?
go.
Wait 1 second. Quiet, please.
Should I?
You're ready.
Good evening. Thanks for letting me vent. I'm here to ask the board to send a cease and desist letter and leave our vendors alone. Somebody in their infinite wisdom called the city to remove certain vendors. However, now they're taking all the vendors, our street vendors. Vendors that we've had there for years, that are community partners, that we want them to stay. It's like a feeding fest when you see sharks or piranha. It doesn't matter if you're the good one, everybody's getting caught up in the trap. We need a cease and desist letter to sanitation, police, the city, whoever you need to send it to leave our vendors alone. And to be also, it's not a popular opinion, but I don't have a problem with the smoke shops. I have a problem with the licensing problems that they have. They should have thought about all of this before they made pot illegal. However, it's legal now, and they need to leave those vendors. There's obviously a market for it. And people are going to the shops. Sometimes I get some CBD because of my arthritis, you know? Need to use it. It's better than popping pills that's gonna hurt my liver, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with the smoke shops. There's a need for it. The city, and I would hope you would do a letter of I don't know what kind of letter, to the city to say they need to, the smoke shops that are there now illegally, they need to be given some kind of a temporary license until, to get stuff together. At least let's work with them. They're community members. And there's a need for them. We need to leave our vendors alone.
Second. Please be respectful.
Thank you. Is there any questions?
Wait, no, 1 second, 1 second. Whoa. Grace? Oh, my fault. Grace, sorry, Grace. Grace was not done talking. Please be respectful of her time and let her finish her time thoroughly, and then you can respond, okay? So I'm gonna reset you back to 20 seconds, so you can finish, okay?
Okay, thank you, Malcolm. So,
Give me
yes.
1 second, 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so basically, I've been living in the Allerton, I live in the heart of Allerton. That's from Boston Road to the train station. Not past the train station, that's a whole other world. So that's the heart of Allerton. And in this heart of Allerton, to me, that's discrimination when they keep hitting our vendors. We have poor people, our community is people of color, okay? It's not the Jewish and Italians that used to be back in the day. Now it's changed over.
That's fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
anyway, so yeah, please cease and desist.
Okay, we have a question.
For the board, so, don't you just come, for the board, so this will go on the new business if if I motion to vote, cease and desist letter to the said, New York City agencies, right, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so I'm gonna bring up a motion at the end to send the letter, that's
Thank
all.
you so much.
All right.
Hey, wait, I have
So-
a question.
Okay, another, Grace, please wait.
Um, Sorry about that. Exactly what vendors are you talking about? You're talking about street vendors?
Street vendors.
On
and-
Allerton?
And on Allerton, on Allerton, huh? Food vendors, today they hit the halal truck. Okay? They've decimated, Ness, they took the halal truck that he's been there for years, like the taco truck on Pelham Parkway's been there for how long? Now they started hitting him too, I saw that. But yeah, it's the street vendors. The street vendors that we don't want, we'll deal with. We deal with, okay? We don't need the city to come in and wipe everybody out, because that's not right.
So are these, I'm sorry, are these legal vendors or, I mean, do they have permits?
They have permits, but the city in their infinite wisdom has certain parameters that if you gotta have it. I spoke to a lieutenant and he says, well, you have to have a certain table. It has to be a certain length. The longer the table, the bigger the table, the more they charge, the city charges for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a scam, but that's my opinion. So yeah, so if you go beyond the parameters that they have, if your tables you have too many tables or they're too big, they're gonna hit you. They're gonna come at you with a fine. But nobody bothered them before until somebody made a call and now everybody's getting swept up. And we need him because he's got great prices. Listen, I don't know if everybody goes shopping at the supermarket, but everything's up, up, up. I'm on a fixed income. Most people have a fixed income, they're small income. You know, we have to make do with what we have, and he's a great community partner.
Yeah, one more question.
Okay, it's really just not a question, but I just wanted to say that that's why it's important. For instance, David is here tonight to make his presentation to us about about his, and he followed to the letter, all of the requirements from the state and city to, for those. So when you have the legal smoke shops, I understand that they've been helpful for you and that's wonderful, but, that's why I think it's important for us to be kind and recognize that these people have gone through the process.
I understand that, but the gentleman from the farm upstate, we need people that are from the neighborhood to do it. And I think there was never any outreach to people who opened these shops. Okay, there's never been any outreach or education. They just said, well, pot's legal, let's open up. There was never any outreach, never any education about rules and regulations. There weren't any rules and regulations when they first started. Now they're coming up with rules and regulations. So they're backtracking. So instead of punishing people that rushed to open up a shop, instead of saying, listen, we all, I don't know if you all know, but I all know, a lot of the bodegas, they were selling weed on the side anyway. They're selling it anyway. They're gonna do it.
That's
So
a
now-
big generalization.
All right, okay, all right. Thank you. Next.
Okay. Ronald Colangelo?
Hold on. Ooh. All right, before you start, David, so I think I forwarded this email on. I don't remember if I did. If not, you're on notice tonight. Starting November, the recording company is going to be cutting us off at 9:45, right? The last meeting they didn't get home till 1 o'clock, like me, but they had to get up at 3 a.m. for another event. So starting in November, they'll be cutting us off at 9:45. I mean, there'll be exceptions to that. I believe there may be exceptions to that, depending upon their schedule. But starting at 9:45. Also, I emailed it while we were talking. I emailed everybody the bylaw part of the gallery session. 2 minutes initially, only 4 questions thereafter. Additional speaking time must be granted by the chair of the presiding officer of the board, which in this case is Bernadette. Thereafter, a majority vote must be a majority of vote by the community board. It's not like, oh, I want more time. We can't do that. We're going to stick to the bylaws, right? Otherwise, it's just going to be chaos.
Ready?
Sure. Hello, am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Hi, I'd like to welcome all the new members. You got new members here today? Well, went to go see the new pot locations, got any free samples? Everybody laughs. It's okay. I'm going to break into a song. But anyway, I'm here to talk about the 1900 Seminole project that's going into Jacoby. They want to put in some prisoners and pretrial detainees. Last Monday, they were planning a meeting in November at the Rotunda to discuss this problem. Tuesday at City Hall, the City Council was told by 2 hospitals that were joining in this project they weren't going to be ready till 2025 and 2026. On Wednesday, the meeting in Jacoby was canceled. I guess they're trying to get all together, get all their ducks in a row. Now that 2 of their possible locations are going to be dead for 2 or 3 more years, this project's going to be pushed. I've been living in this neighborhood 50 years. My mother's family, my mother moved to this neighborhood on Seminole Avenue to walk to Einstein Hospital at night because she got paid more to work nights. Now, do I have to worry if she was still around or any other nurse that's going to walk to Jacoby Hospital or from Jacoby Hospital at night with all these people roaming around with scurrilous backgrounds, let's say. Pretrial detainees. I had a lot of friends that were pretrial detainees. I'm no saint. But what they would do is, well, I'm going to get 5 years. Let me get a couple of bucks in my pocket so I don't have to hit my mother up to send me smoke money up in the place I'm staying. So they do a few other things. I look at 6 months. So they pull off 10 quick things. They got a couple of dollars. And now these guys are going to be on Seminole Avenue, down a block from my house. And let's see what they're going to do while they're pre-trial. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, next up is Brian Adams. You're up. All right, Brian. No, you're not the last. You're not the last.
May I be the last speaker? So many ladies around here. They're so cute. I'm speaking about the cannabis situation. It's unlawful around here. There's about 3 or 4 cannabis shops legalized within a 2-block area. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. 1 or at the most 2 cannabis shops would be better. That's all. 1 or 2. If I was a sheriff or a state trooper, I'll come down here personally to make sure everything is cool, calm, collective. Otherwise, it's going to be fines and suspensions. Oh boy. Wow, it's going to be good. It's going to be fantastic. Oh, I know. I can trust it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And our last speaker in person now is David.
1 second. Wait.
All right, so you sign this.
All right, please.
Just let's let him speak, all right?
And then you're next.
All right, thank you and good evening, everyone. First and foremost, again, let me thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today.
1 second.
Sorry.
After you set your time back. Let's go. All right, let's go.
All right, thank you. I'm David Nikponsky. I'm the founder and CEO of Freshly Baked NYC. I'm also on the board of directors of the New York State Cannabis Retailer Association. We are thrilled for the prospect of joining this vibrant community, and I assure you that we do not take the opportunity lightly. As we stated in our subcommittee last week, in the subcommittee meeting last week, the obligations surrounding a legal cannabis dispensary are important. They exist for good reason, and they're something that we take extremely seriously. Many members of the public seem to think, or may assume, that our business is just another smoke shop popping up in the community, but this is not the case. So I feel it's crucial to distinguish ourselves from the illicit, unlicensed shops that you see all around you. Licensed legal businesses like ours are fundamentally different. Unlike the pop-up shops, we are committed to the stringent compliance obligations that are a cornerstone of both our license and our internal standard operating procedures. A few quick examples. We must not, and we will not, sell to, advertise to, or even make ourselves particularly attractive to children. So no bubbly, colorful, and cartoony graphics and text outside of our shop. This is actually a state requirement that every licensed cannabis shop must follow. We are also responsible for collecting a legislated 13% point of sale cannabis tax, of which roughly 1/3 is directed to the local community for public projects like parks, education services, or whatever the community values. This is money that rightfully belongs to the community and is currently being misappropriated from you. Beyond these obligations, we are excited and committed to being a positive influence in the community. I'll stop here, but there's plenty more that I'd like to say. I'm happy to engage with the community, and I'll be here afterwards.
Okay, do we have any questions?
Hold on. First April, Mike, please.
Just wanted to ask, where's your location?
Location is on White Plains Road, 2152-54 White Plains Road.
2153?
2-4. Sorry, the address is 2152-54 White Plains Road.
Okay, thank you so much.
That, just so everybody knows, that location is the GNC and the furniture store located on White Plains Road between Pelham Parkway and Leidig. The GNC, I believe you stated, has already been given to someone else, but the furniture store is where you're looking to have your shop open.
That's correct.
Question.
Jeremy?
Any other questions we have?
Just a quick question. Okay. Who's your target audience for selling your goods? Is there like a specific demographic they're aiming for?
That's a great question. We don't have a particular demographic in mind other than the local community, basically. We, especially as I mentioned, do not want to focus, or we will not focus on any kind of advertising or marketing toward anything that would be attractive to our children, but generally local community members.
Edward.
I was told, don't worry about it, you'll get a chance to speak.
I read somewhere on the OCM website that there's, not your first year, but the second year, you're required to have some sort of community action plan or something to that effect. Am I correct on that? Or have you thought about having, like we discussed in the committee, some sort of plan to engage with the community?
So the idea was brought up. It's an excellent idea and something that we'll definitely follow through with. We don't have one for day one opening though. Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Yes. Hi. So I just want to clarify. So right now, because you are moving right into my neighborhood, and there are two on White Plain, one on the block where you intend to be, one across the street and one around the corner, illegal smoke shops, and the type that have the Oreo and all the other stuff in the window. If I'm correct, you are going to be a licensed dispensary that follows the rules and does things like checking age so that you are not dispensing to minors. You are going to follow all the rules and regulations.
Yes, ma'am, that's true.
Okay, thank you.
That's more questions.
I have questions.
That's it.
Ms. Four?
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Okay, thank you.
So just so everybody knows, Mr. Smith did call the office earlier when he came by. So, right, Chris? Yes, so he said.
Okay, so
Yeah. Hello? Yeah, sorry. So yeah, he said restaurant, I couldn't find it online, but either way, just when you introduce yourself, how you're related to, are you an organization, are you a constituent? And go, and you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Roy Smith. I'm here in my capacity as a private citizen. I live in City Island, which is part of CB10, but I'm talking about the Greenway here. I am a frequent user of the Pelham Parkway Greenway. In fact, I rode on it this evening to get here on my bike. So today's agenda refers to this as a pedestrian path, which is incorrect. It is a mixed-use pedestrian and bicycle path. It is a critical link in the East Coast Greenway, which is a 3,000-mile walking and biking route reaching from Maine to Florida. The portion through the Bronx starts at the city line, north of Pelham Bay Park, runs along Short Road, then Pelham Parkway, Bronx River Greenway, Marshall Greenway, through Van Cortlandt Park, and eventually crosses over the Broadway Bridge. That's about 11 miles. CB 11 is steward to the 2 miles of that, which is along Pelham Parkway. These 2 miles are in significantly worse condition and lack the clearly marked demarcation between pedestrian and bicycle traffic found on the other segments. It is too narrow to allow pedestrian and bicycle traffic to safely coexist, especially around the bus stops. This is obvious from the dirt patches worn into the grass on both sides of the paved strip. Surface is cracked and uneven, and it will get worse if not repaired. It is poorly graded and floods after every rain. Repaving this is essential. Many of the users are pushing strollers or shopping carts. Small wheels on these are particularly at risk from the broken pavement. Some are elderly people using canes, walkers, or electric mobility devices. They will benefit greatly from an improved pavement. And of course, all users will benefit from the path being widened sufficiently to allow bicycles and pedestrians to safely pass each other. In short, I support the plan to repave and widen the path, and I encourage CB11 to support it as well.
Thank you. Perfect.
Hey, is there any questions? No?
Very much.
All right, thank you, Phil. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on. And of course, my favorite part, this is the chair's report. I do have a few items. I'll go as quickly as possible. This month of October, we recognize the National Hispanic Heritage Month that goes to October 15th, and also the National Italian Heritage Month, which goes from October 1st to October 31st. And then there are 5 awareness months that get the most attention, and I'll read them off. I thought it was quite interesting. ADHD Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Socktober, Cybersecurity Awareness Month, LGBTQ plus History Month, and National Book Month. My first item. On August 17th, I met with Assemblymember John Zaccaro Jr. expressing Community Board 11's wanting to do a public hearing or town hall on the illegal smoke shops and enforcement in response to the many calls from our residents. Community Board 11 was willing to move forward with this initiative with his help, but Assemblymember Zaccaro was already gathering information and stepping up to the plate to make this happen. Community Board 11 is very grateful to Assemblymember John Zaccaro Jr. for this town hall, which was a success this Tuesday, October 24th, and brought awareness to what is being done and what bills are being introduced, with many questions were answered and were asked and answered. Again, thank you. Number 2. A letter was forwarded to the full board requesting your response. It is a letter from Brooklyn CB11 asking for all 59 community boards to sign on requesting additional time to review the City of Yes economic opportunity. The 60 days required will end December 31st, 2023. The request is to have an additional 30 days, bringing it to January 31st, 2024. I am asking all the board members that this letter was sent out to review and respond if you think that CB11 should sign on to this. So I am asking for everybody to please respond so that we can get this a yes or a no response back to Brooklyn Community Board 11. Number 3, because of the short amount of time to respond with regards to the above, an ad hoc committee for this purpose was discussed at this month's executive board meeting and agreed to commence. An email was sent out to all board members who would like to be on this committee. Please review it and respond if you want to participate. Number 4, on the first hand, I must publicly apologize to my friends in Pelham Parkway. I was reminded by my former board member and friend, Edith, on Thursday evening at the town hall. If I had not been distracted by continual criticisms and challenges to not only the office of the chair, but to me personally, I might have remembered and had a clearer mind to focus on what matters most, which is you, the community. And both for myself and the board members, that we're here to serve. Because this happened to me when I was first a board member, representing Van Nest, my plate was full and I had minimal time to check agendas and meetings. A land use meeting had a Van Nest property up for discussion. No board members from Van Nest were notified. So I made my dissatisfaction very clear to John Fratta, who was a district manager at that time. I vowed to stay focused on our communities and never let this happen again. Next, from now on, I have requested that Community Board 11 office send out to the full public any SLA requests and any cannabis licenses requests that come into Community Board 11. to be put on our public distribution list, we need your permission to put your email on that list. We cannot just arbitrarily put it on there. So if you do want to be put on the public list, you can email the office, you can email Jeremy, or you can go to our page that has our forms and guidelines, and you can go to the Bronx Community Board 11 website under Forms and Guidelines and request speaking time and input this information. So if you do want to be put on our public list, we were requesting you to send in your emails. Okay? If there's any questions, please let me know, or call Jeremy, or call the office. And last, we sent out to the full board members, again, the letter of regret. Please give a brief yes or no response to that letter for our records. If you want to add more, please do. Thank you.
Point of inquiry. Point of inquiry.
Well, can she finish her report?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that is the end of my report.
Yeah. Point of inquiry, Jeremy, can you remind us what is the process for such a letter to be distributed to the public on a letterhead if it is being sent from the community board?
Public statements, the bylaws.
Say it again. So
What is the process for public statements to be made on community board letterhead to the public?
I can tell you what that is.
Please, I would love to know it.
The letter has to go to the full board. The letter was sent to the full board, and there was a request with the letter to say if there are any particular statements that want to be added
All right.
to this letter.
All right.
And the statements that came back, I have to say, I was very upset about. So my point is, as you will see, there is constant challenges. So the board, I sent the letter as per the chair.
Right.
Because the community and the public were requesting this week after week after week after week.
Well,
So the board did not have his comments put on there. So the letter of regret came from the chair to respond to the public.
Well, thank you. Well, this is really regretful, to be honest with you. In the sense that on October 2nd, funny, the apology letter that was put on Facebook was updated on a letterhead, right? We went through an executive meeting a leadership meeting where it was discussed, and you did not inform us that it was on a letterhead till yesterday. So it's interesting to me that today that you're throwing it back on us, saying that we didn't do our part. Let me finish, because you just explained the process that you did not follow.
I want to express the letterhead.
All right.
And that was in August. Wasn't that, Kevin, when you brought that to, it was sometime in August, and I thanked you for it. And I put it on our letterhead.
Okay, who has a hand raised? Microphone?
3,
Go ahead.
for the record, we voted
Are we
on
trying
an
to discuss
apology letter, not a letter of regret, number one. Number two, that letter should have gone to the full board for review and approval. End of story. It should have been voted on. This is not a matter of challenging you for the sake of challenging you. It is challenging you for violations of procedure and process.
I would like to respond.
It's inappropriate for that letter to have been posted, number one, from you on plain paper, but secondarily, for me to go online and see that it was surreptitiously switched out onto letterhead with no discussion with the full board. Thank you.
So I'm going to respond, and then after this, we can close it. The chair has to deal with the full body. Part of our diversity and inclusion has to be the full body, not just 1, 2, 4, or 5. A full body that came back to me with responses that said, and I quote, "This letter is signed by the reason for this letter is being sent to all of the board members." The responses came back that why do I have to apologize? An apology means we did something wrong. And to be quite honest, it was said in the letter that this was the first time for many members and the first time for new members that a particular situation happened like this. So there is really not one person that could say, well, that particular person did something wrong. If we had closed down, then it would have been interpreted as we're not giving people the right to speak. And so it was kept on. I know you're shaking your head, Diane, but I have to actually understand. The inclusion has to be a full response, not just an apology from a group of people. So a part of the board feels an apology. As it was said in the letter, it was a deep regret of this event. Nobody wanted this to happen. I wasn't even chair at the time. And if I was chair, I wouldn't have had it happen. I would never have allowed it to, because the community sentiments would not have changed. And the spiral that we saw could have been predicted. But that was not in my purview at the time. So I would like to put this to rest, that there are other opinions besides the one said here today. And I would like that to be known, that it's a spectrum. And you could go onto the video and just hear the repeat of what I said tonight. This was from the chair. If you want to put a letter together from the full board, go right ahead, but I will not sign it.
Yeah.
Please,
All right.
move on.
All right, so. All right, so that concludes the chair's report. Treasurer's report, Veronica.
Hi, everyone. The report has been uploaded to the website. Please take a look at it. Anybody that has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You have my email. If you don't, come to me after the meeting. I'll be happy to give it to you. Thank you.
Okay, secretary's report, Hazel.
Oh, sorry, Hazel.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hopefully everybody reviewed the minutes. I'm hoping that you guys did. You're really the ones that have to tell us whether something needs to be changed, amended,
Take it over from here.
or distracted, whatever. But it's real, we all, Harriet and I depend on you guys to let us know if the minutes are correct. So I'm going to make a motion. I always have to write this down just to get it right. I make a motion to accept the minutes of the full board on September 2023 full board meeting.
Yes.
Do we have any discussions?
Second.
Oh, I need a second. Oh, thank you.
I have discussion.
On the minutes, part 9, section A, item 1. I was wondering, it says it's in the leadership committee report. I was not at the leadership committee, so I was wondering why it's in the leadership committee report. Because my name is mentioned.
Okay, so say it again. What are we
Part-
talking about?
Part 9,
Part 9A, which one?
part 9A, item 1.
Okay,
It says it's in the committee reports in leadership. I
Yeah.
was not at leadership.
yeah, but this is a full board meeting. They voted under the leadership committee. This was the decision of the leadership committee, the motion.
Okay, I just wanted clarification.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you did vote against it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
I just wanted clarification why it's under that part.
okay.
Okay,
Any more any more discussion? Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? So the motion carries. Thank you very much.
thank you.
All right.
Next is the Sergeant of Arms.
Before we head into the chair's reports, just going to remind everybody that discussion on motions will just be limited to 10 minutes, right? And within that, everybody will be afforded one chance to give their input on the topic at hand, okay? I'm also going to ask you guys to please keep a lookout for quorum. We need to have at least 23 members here for quorum. So since we came here, I ask you guys to all stay and to work with us to ensure that we get out of here quickly and get through our business effectively, efficiently, okay? All right, thank you.
So unless I'm gonna move my report to old business unless you guys don't want me to. I mean, that's just so we can get through the motions.
Take care.
No? Okay, all right. All right, so seating of time, a member of the public brought that up, and that was a vote by the leadership committee that we allow one seating at a time. It's not a bylaw amendment, so maybe the board wants to revisit that at some point. I'm sorry for the late start time, right? We were supposed to be upstairs in the crystal room. Because we're in the basement, Wi-Fi is not great. But next month we will be at Einstein. And we booked every month, we got every month booked except for April, I believe, at Einstein. So at least we have a guaranteed spot. Also in the future, I noticed that there are only 8 tables, which is a little crowded. I'll make sure there are 10, and I'll try to do that for Einstein as well. Attendance. So I talked about this at leadership. Attendance for committee meeting minutes are going to be like the full board meeting minutes going forward. Harry and Chris have been helping me with that. I'm also came up with the idea today that we will make it a Google sheet. So versus you relying on the paper sheet, which we will print out the committee meetings, you'll have access to doing the chair and the co-chair or the designee will have access to that. I have a single spreadsheet for your single committee for attendance. Let's see. And this, we can talk about this later, but I don't know if anybody knows where David, Levitt, Al, D'Angelo, or Katie and Alan are tonight. Those are only 3 that are unaccounted for in terms of attendance. So if you want to say something to me or Bernadette, ultimately she decides on the attendance because it's her meeting officially. See, diversity training, I sent out, Bernadette had me send out legislation, a link to legislation that's being proposed to the city council. I did send out an email, I think, to the board that I was inquiring with DCAS. DCAS offers free diversity training for New York City employees. We would have to pay for board members. CEC, that's a Community Engagement Commission, has also been pushing DCAS for this. Executive session last week, leadership committee. So it came up that, remember there's specific reasons for going, there are 5 reasons for going to executive session, and personnel matters is not enough. I emailed the board about that. And yeah, there's some other things, but I'll touch base on that at a later time. I think those are the points I want to hit upon. Unless there's any questions, we'll move on to committee reports.
Yep.
Brenda?
Committee reports, bylaws. Okay, is this on? All right, great. Okay, hi, everybody. We had a very nice meeting last night, and we came up with several proposals. The first, there is a motion that the Sanitation and Environmental Protection and the Transportation Committees of CB11 meet individually or jointly to discuss whether the 2 committees should be combined into a single committee. And that's a motion that we're making. That's a proposal that we're making. So we're not making the motion to actually have that combined. We're giving it to both the chairs and the co-chairs of the committees to meet either separately or together to decide how they want to proceed. It would require a restructuring
and probably a renaming of this committee if you decide to go forward with this.
We have to remind them.
Wait here, what?
We have to
So-
remind them that every member of each committee has to be present so that this could be discussed, so that they can vote. You just can't not show up. They'll have to decide.
You're gonna.
But-
The chair will decide what days they can meet separately or together.
Yeah, you can put it on your agenda of your normal meeting if you want.
Themselves, each group. They may not want it, they may want it, we don't know. But it was brought up.
So that's a motion that we're making, I guess,
Yeah, the motion was made last night.
Right, was making, and it was seconded,
Yep.
and it passed. But we want to make it to the full board, so.
Yep. So
um,
it's open for discussion, further discussion. Mike?
Does anybody have anything to say about that, or against, or it's really, the decision isn't being made to do that, but this decision is to go ahead and, allow you to make that decision. So are there any objections or,
Well, discussion first. Debbie?
Yeah, being that we're still on discussion. As you know, I've been asking for this for like 2 years. Also, it was kind of brought also to my attention that now with the new mayor's plan of containerizing garbage, a lot of buildings are going to be utilizing large container systems for their garbage. Where are they going to put those for pickup for sanitation? In the street. So sanitation and transportation are very much hand in hand. So this needs to be done instead of one committee talking about this, one committee talking about that. Oh, well, wait a minute, we should ask this. If it's one committee, it's cohesive.
okay, can I say something? We did have, Ellie Rodriguez brought up a point where they can meet jointly whenever and that could be something that they could decide on when they meet. So,
Yeah, but many of the other community boards already have it at.
but we.
I'm just saying, all the other community boards have it, all the other community boards have it as one committee.
I want to second that. I want to end discussion. I want to.
Just call the question. So you have to do. All you have to do is move to call the question. Sorry. Just move to call the question.
Hello, I want to end. So. Anyone?
All right, it's a vote.
Okay. Okay, I presented the motion. I'd want to know if there are any objections or abstentions to this motion. And then it seems unanimous. No objections, no abstentions. Thank you very much.
All right, number two. We're doing this together. Motion number 2 of what? The bylaws has been meeting almost every month because everyone comes up with suggestions or motions or ideas. And we feel it's just, what we want, the motion, what we want is for the bylaws to meet 4 times a year. So if someone has a motion or an idea, they could present it at 1 or 2 of the 3 times before we meet to get together with it. Instead of every month with everyone throwing motions and ideas, it's just been way too much, and we think this is much fairer and easier. So I make a motion, which was originally stated by Joanne, that bylaws amendments should only be used 4 times a year.
I second.
It was already voted in committee, so it's already on the floor, but just just to clarify, because I know you sent me an email, I only put the first part, you said reviewed only 4 times a year, but the committee could meet, or they could have a meeting every other month, so.
Establish that.
Right.
Okay, yeah, because it's, doesn't necessarily jive with what's proposed.
Right, discussion, right?
Now, this is
All right, so I'm gonna start the time. Wait,
bylaws proposal paper out.
all right, all right, thank you, Sandy. Naomi, a second, so the issue with that, right? The only reason there is a backlog on bylaw proposals is because certain people decided to worry about other things that wasn't committee board business, right? That is why there is a backlog at the bylaws committee. The other reason is because instead of prioritizing those bylaws to have been discussed last month and in June, they were doing other things when it could have been discussed and gotten away out of the way. It also could have gotten out of the way yesterday. So that was the only reason there is a backlog. If there is a need or any type of city protocol that needs to be changed on our level, we need to be able to respond to it ASAP, right? So if we are not able to meet whenever or however, and we're sticking to this 4 times a year, then that is keeping in business and reacting to things as we should react. So I do not support this motion at all. I think that instead our priorities should be straight and we should be reacting to things as they come and not continue to push it off. And our priorities should be about the community board and not the other issues that we're focused on outside of this board.
Hi. Okay, I'm sorry, Malcolm, no, I'm processing, I'm sorry. So I do disagree with the 4 times a year, but I do understand the load on the committee. And so if we can think of a way where we can make the process easier for the committee and at the same time be able to process bylaws as needed, because it's true. So that's what I'm concerned about. I understand why you want to do it 4 times a year, but I'm a little bit skeptical because if something comes up, what do we do? So if you, I don't want to, I'm not saying no, yes, I'm just saying, can we as a team think of how we can make it easier or better for you? Because it is a lot of work to review all these bylaws and try to edit them so that it fits our board and, is efficient. But at the same time, I'm concerned if something comes up that needs immediate attention, we're not going to be doing that, so.
That would be an emergency. I guess we could say that if there was an emergency or something came up that needed immediate looking at, we would do it.
So.
Did you guys vote on this already? Yeah. It did. You all agreed to 4 times a year.
So, if I may, I know I'm not a board member, but if I may. So if you look at the bylaws, amendments, proposed amendment shall after review by the bylaws committee, okay, whatever. I mean, it doesn't say when you have to review these. So if your committee decided it's only going to meet or review it 4 times a year, then, I mean, the board can obviously override that. But, I mean, do you need approval from the full board for that? I'm not sure you do.
Can we get on to the?
So if there was say hypothetical, just for kind of clarification purpose, say there was a meeting mid-January, and then you're not expected to meet again in April, but something came up in the end of January that needs to be brought to bylaws. How is somebody going to know whether to constitute an emergency or you wait till April? I mean, it's not making sense.
Well, 4 times a year comes out to about every other month, so it's not like it's just,
4 months.
January and April, so it's 4 times, it's every other month, really.
All right.
be taken into consideration.
I think they need
Hold the
to
question.
realize that it's 10 months.
That we
Just,
meet.
Jeremy, just for clarification, for the community board year, it's not 12 months. We're talking about 10 months out of the year. July and August, we don't meet unless there's emergency meetings. So we're not talking about the full year, the calendar year of 12 months. We're talking about 10 months, just for a little clarification. That's why it's not like every 3 months or 4 months. It's just because we're only doing 10 months at a time.
Can we call the question?
Yep.
Right.
So,
So we make a motion that we accept the, that it should only, the bylaws should only meet or will meet 4 times a year unless there is an emergency. Then it will supersede that 4 times a year.
it's.
Postal change.
Wait, time out. When did that, are we voting on the original amendment?
No,
or the
we're voting on what are the amended.
So I don't even understand what I'm looking at. All right.
You know.
I mean,
that's not.
no, I understand, but you voted on 4 times a year in committee, and now we're backtracking, right?
No, unless it's an emergency, that's it. We're putting an amendment.
Okay, I mean, the committee's amending, because you can't amend it without the full support of the committee, right?
Yes, I move to recommit, back to committee.
So you can table it for the moment until we discuss it.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
we can do that.
Table. It's table.
It's taken?
Yeah, because they make it.
This is ridiculous. This can't.
No, everyone.
All right.
Like it's wild.
Now,
Please listen.
Jeremy, all mics are on. All mics are on.
The last one is a committee chair survey, so please take out the paper that you got when you signed in.
I didn't get a paper.
Which is the bylaws.
We didn't get a
Oh,
paper.
wait, Jeremy.
It's it's gonna be an electronic ballot. If you have problems using the internet, just speak to somebody next to you. Because most of you at this point know how to do the Google form survey. That's what they voted on, is to do a survey. And that's how we typically do it. We'll send it out during the meeting. Yeah, I understand. You don't need the paper. It's an electronic survey. So once Joanne gets done describing what's going on, we will send it out. We will email it out. So let her say what she needs to, if you don't mind, and then.
So we received a couple of proposals and having to do with committee members voting for the committee chairs. And there was another proposal stating that committee members will nominate chairs to the approval of, subject to approval of the board chairperson. Now, those are 2 options I'm going to explain. I'm going to read them and explain them. And the third option is that you prefer neither proposal. That means keep it the same as it was, which would be that the chair would appoint the chairs of the committees and the co-chairs of the committees as it is happening now. So you have 3 choices. The first choice is, and again, this is going to be electronic, so if you didn't get the paper, don't worry about it. The committee members vote to elect their own committee officers. The chair of the committee will choose their own co-chair. So the chair of the committee will be voted on by the committee members. They will make the decision, but the chair of the committee will choose their own co-chair. Okay, that's number 1. That's option 1. Option 2, committee members nominate their own committee officers subject to approval by the board chairperson. After 90 days of service by a committee officer, the respective committee may vote to recommend the removal of the officers, again, subject to the approval of the board chairperson. And the third option, again, is to keep it the same as it is, which is to have the chair elect, to appoint both the chair and the co-chair of the committees. So those are the three options. Does anybody else want to say anything about this or?
Yeah, so, yeah.
Jeremy.
We do have people over here for discussion, but you voted on this, just so it's clear, they did vote on this committee last night to send out the survey.
Yeah.
To basically allow that, make that the decision, the final decision on these proposals. Cynthia, I believe?
Just to clarify that there was also discussion that I would be allowed to explain my proposal before anything. So,
Yes.
just for clarification, that proposal to elect their own chairs and co-chairs at committee meetings was proposed initially in February of 2023. It was discussed at the April 2023 Bylaws Committee and was supposed to be brought to the floor in the May 2023 full board meeting. Here we are, October. And so that is a proposal that's been floating around since February, and it's the one I support, not to bias anyone, but that's that. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
And I just want to clarify, I mean, so what Joanne told me last night they decided was that they elect the chair of the committee, but the chair of the committee will then choose their own co-chair. Right? Okay.
Yeah, and then Cynthia,
Yeah.
you did agree to that. You did think that was a good thing. That's fine. So,
Are we good, Naomi?
Naomi? Yes.
On sending, so I will send out an email right now. Right? You didn't get the email yet because remember, that's what we do. We talk about it. Miguel?
I just want to make it clear that option 2 and option 3 are pretty much the same thing. Because either way, the chair makes the decision.
No, not an option 1. The chair, yeah, the chair.
2 and 3.
Oh, 2 and 3. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 3 is the same, the existing, you'll see in the email. All right. All right. I'm going to send it out now and we'll move on with the committee reports like we historically do when we do these surveys. All right. Bernadette?
Are we done?
Yeah. So we can resolve this.
Yeah.
Right, that's it.
Yeah. It's okay. That's fine. I don't care.
Okay, we are on to our committee report for economic development. I'll hand it over to Veronica.
Okay, so this last meeting, we had 2 liquor license renewal applicants. In the interest of time, unless there is an objection from the board, I'd like to make one motion for both of those.
Second.
So
Me. For the record, we should have it on the report.
Okay. So the first applicant is Burger Time located at 1080 Morris Park Avenue. There was a renewal for wine, beer, and cider. The second applicant was the Morris Park Inn located at 1024 Morris Park Avenue, also for wine, beer, and cider. The motion is that Community Board 11 send an email of no objection to the New York State Liquor Authority for both these locations regarding the renewal liquor license application for them. It's already been seconded in committee, so we don't need a second. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Any abstentions? We have one abstention from Edward Perez. Any others?
Ever press.
Yeah, I said on the record. Okay, so that motion passes with one abstention. Thank you. Now, the next motion we have is for the New York State Office of Cannabis license application for Freshly Baked New York City for 2154 White Plains Road. We heard from David earlier today. So the motion that was made was that Community Board 11 send an email of no objection to New York State Office of Cannabis Management regarding the new license application for Freshly Baked New York City at 2154 White Plains Road. It was already seconded at committee, so we don't need a second. Do we have any discussion? Any objections? We have one objection from Naomi Pemberton. Anyone else? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
We have an abstention from Serena Munez, Bernadette Ferrara. Any others? and from Janice Wilcott. Any others? Okay, motion passes with 3 abstentions. Names are on the record. One thing I want to mention is that these locations, they're proposed, they're basically an intent to let us know that they are going for a license. We may get licenses for multiple people that fall within the 1,000 feet regulation that the OEM has put together, so OCM has put together. Our job is not to decide which one of them is going to be in our community. If we decide that they're going to be in our community, our job is just to recommend to the OCM whether or not we think that person would be a good person for our community. So we may get multiple ones. The OCM will then decide which one of those would be in the community, basically within that 1,000 feet. So if we get 2 that are next to each other, it's not our place to decide which one of them is going to be in the community. It's just to decide if they were chosen, would we want them to be in our community? So I just want to put that out there. So, because we're getting more and more cannabis applications, and so I just want that to be clear. I'll mention it again at the next meeting. But also, we have 2 more coming up for our next meeting. The first one is located at 711 Leidig Avenue. That's the furniture store that's there on Leidig between Kruger and White Plains Road. That's going to be coming up at our next meeting. And then there's Seren Philippe, called the Higher Path. And that's located at 1417 Pelham Parkway North. So those 2 will be reviewed and discussed at our next meeting. So anyone who wants to attend, please do. We'll take any questions and we'll be open to listening to the public for any feedback that they have on these locations. If any more come in, we will let you know, as the days get closer.
It will be sent to the public.
And they will be sent to the public for, for public distribution, along with anything else that may come in from now until our next meeting. Thank you.
Veronica, this
Yes.
is Joanne. I just want to point out something. I remember we spoke about 1417 Pelham Parkway North is a private house in a residential community. It's zoned for residential community. It is an attached home with a garage. Just wanted to point that out. And I looked up the zoning. The zoning is for residential only, not anything commercial. I mean, it's not a medical facility or a community organization or anything like that, which is allowed.
In the interest of time, I think we should we'll
Okay,
discuss that at the
just
committee,
wanted to
'cause
say.
I'm gonna have information for the committee, for the members of the public there, but yeah, that we did look at that. And right now, it's a residential, it's a home along the lines of other homes. But we'll discuss that more at the committee meeting when we have more information that we could provide to the public for it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So also, I know we have a few people online. Normally at the beginning of the meeting, when I'm not pulled in different directions, I make you a co-host. I know Ken wanted to say something, probably in relation to the bylaw amendments. I did make him a co-host now, so anybody who's online, I know you should be able to unmute yourself. Sorry about that. Just remind me, text me. Obviously, I can't always respond to my text messages right away. So Chris, Harriet, any other member, text message us. So somebody can remind me to make you a co-host.
I did this at home so that they.
So Ken, did you want to say something now while we have a little?
It's okay. It's passed already.
Okay. All right.
Good, next committee is housing. Housing.
Yeah, I'll do it. So I think this works. So at housing, we passed a letter to be sent to HPD regarding the AMI and at the Fine Fair project that's coming up. The motion passed. So our request is to send it to HPD and Ted. It was already voted on. I'm not sure if you guys want to discuss. If not, if there's no objections, we'll submit it to Ted and HPD. Yeah, it was voted on, yeah. And thanks to Roxanne for the help. I wanted to give her a shout out. Yep.
Discussion, no?
I think we're good. No, I mean, anyone against or abstain? Clean? All right.
You guys.
So that was unanimous, just for the record.
Okay, next committee report is Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, everyone. Four of the other members, other than Debbie and I, met at Zimmerman Playground for a walkthrough. The Parks Committee is ready to renovate Zimmerman Playground without a male-female bathroom. We haven't had a bathroom in over 8 years, which means we cannot have programs for children, PAL, or anything else. Okay, to me and to the members that came with Debbie and I to Zimmerman and stood in front of the porta potties that I had to damn near cuss out the Parks Commissioner about. They, when I got there, they said I wanted to open the door of the porta potty. They said, please, please, don't do it. Don't do it. We've been standing here. Can we move? First of all, to use a porta potty that has not been serviced in over a week is ridiculous, okay? I've been meeting with the Parks Department for over 8 years to say, fix the park house, which houses a male-female bathroom. It was a preschool. It was a summer fun in the sun for kids. My kids went there. My son is 52 now. It's time for the park house to be renovated. The Parks Department wants to renovate that park without a male-female bathroom, which is, forget it. It's ridiculous, okay? I spoke about the bathroom at Loretto Park, which got trashed after fixed up. It was renovated or taken care of within a few months. Why can't Zimmerman Playground, Park House be taken care of so that the quality of life issues, I have mothers taking their kids between 2 cars to use the bathroom. The boys can go by a tree. It's ridiculous, okay? The Park Department needs to address that issue. And before they renovate Zimmerman, without addressing the male-female bathroom, we're gonna ask them to hold up on the renovation until that park house is taken care of. Anybody want to speak on this? Anyone?
I would actually like to read the letter that Malcolm had suggested. No, because it's very on point because that playground has a lot of history. Established in 1934, the Bronx Community Board 11 District Zimmerman Playground holds a special place in Bronx history. It has been a hub for community growth, especially for well-known Allerton Coops located in the park's west end. For generations, Zimmerman Playground has been where Allerton Coops residents for all background gathers to meet, play, and grow together while enjoying the perks of our district. Recently, Zimmerman Playground was picked for a revamp. This means a new swing set, slide, basketball court, and even a rock climbing structure, which we're kind of against, but however, one thing is still missing: an updated bathroom. Having proper bathroom is crucial for the Allerton Coop families and nearby residents. It ensures our kids have a safe and clean place to freshen up during playtime instead of dealing with the inconvenient porta potties or using the outdoors. These restrooms will also bring back much awaited spring and summer community events, giving parents peace of mind when sending their kids to the park. Especially after the recent pandemic, we understand how hard hit communities like ours were due to limited access to medical facilities and sanitation. We believe that including these restrooms in Zimmerman Playground design is a step towards fixing the issue and continuing the unity that defines our neighborhood history. As the Parks Committee of Community Board 11, we kindly ask our elected officials, Councilman Riley, Assemblyman John Zakara Jr., State Senator Leader Jamal Bailey, and Madam Borough President Vanessa Gibson to meet with us and to help secure funding for Zimmerman Playground's restroom restoration. This is more than just an upgrade. It is a way to show our community to the well-being and progress of our cherished community. Warm regards, the Bronx Community Board 11 Parks Committee. And I do thank Malcolm for writing this for us.
I have a question.
There's a motion on.
Oh, yeah.
You want to make a motion and then let.
I make a motion to send this letter to all the elected officials named on there, and shoot, even the mayor.
Yeah.
I second.
Who seconded?
I second.
Wendy.
Wendy.
It's online.
Okay.
No.
Any discussion?
I do have a question.
Well, go ahead, Wendy.
It's funny you mentioned the mayor's office, because isn't the mayor's rep there?
Yeah, she's on.
Mayor's online with you.
Because I'm curious because I've never seen anything like this where it takes 8 years and still nothing is done. Is there an issue why? Why? Why is it taking
So
so
the
long?
last cost estimate we got from the Parks Department was $9 million. Usually we rely on usually the Parks Department relies on the elected officials to support these projects. I know when we got Eastchester Playgrounds renovated, the Parks Department is able to, I think, get the mayor's office or through their own agency, one of the two. Doesn't mean they have unlimited funds though.
So can the mayor's office check into that? Can we get that on the record that they'll check into that?
Yeah, well, that's what the letter's about, right? And
But I mean, if the rep is there.
Yeah, well, when, I don't think we should call on the rep now. I think we should wait till the elected official portion, right?
Okay.
Right, yes? Deb?
I can't hear her.
No, it's just go ahead with the motions.
Okay.
They're good.
All right, so,
Discussion.
any discussion? Any further discussion?
Objection.
Any objection? Any abstention? The motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next committee report is leadership. And I'm gonna.
There's one more for Parks.
Okay. Okay, I thought that was not going to be spoke about, but go right ahead.
What? Okay. A motion that the Parks Department resurface the pedestrian path in the middle from White Plains Road to Stillwell Avenue. Pardon me? Not widen it, but pave it. Pave it so that people can ride and walk the pathway, okay? Not for the scooters, but people that can walk and ride, okay? Thank you.
that a motion? That's a motion.
I second. Or have.
No, it's made in committee, right?
But it's not.
Yeah, it's not, it's not worded. Does it have to go back to
I mean, it's still voted, there's a vote that went in committee.
Yes.
All right, then it's just, then it's
Right,
just
hold on.
done on the agenda, so that's fine.
Right.
That's what was, as long as what you just stated is what was
I have,
put it on in the
Yeah.
committee, then you
We
just have
good?
to.
We good?
I have,
We should be fine.
I have a suggestion,
Who's that?
Malcolm.
Go ahead.
The conversation, again, when we walked Pelham Parkway last week, we said it was 50-50 when we were surveying people. Even today in this very room, it is 50-50, right? Well, let me finish, right? There are those in this room who says don't widen, and there are also those in this room who also say widen. I think I personally will support resurfacing the pavement, but I think we need to have more research, more. All right, time out. Whose phone is going off? Please turn it off. Thank you. I think that we need to do probably more community outreach to really figure out what is the consensus on widening and not widening it. I think we also need to bring Parks in to also discuss with us what are the implications and the pros and the cons to doing so. I don't think right now we should make the decision to not widen, but I think we should make the decision to pave this road.
First of all, the widening that they were talking about, I'm looking on here, was only in a couple of small sections. They're not even talking about fixing the whole thing. We want the whole thing fixed. That's number one. Number two, was maybe about 3 or 4 people that was for widening it. And there was like probably closer to 20 people that were to leave the size alone, just to resurface it. I've utilized that many times, and I know even 20 years ago, when my child was young, it needed repair. It's 20 years later, and it still needs repair. It needs to be repaired from White Plains Road all the way to Stillwell Avenue. And on our walkthrough, one of the people even came back to us and had said not to widen it because she liked the country feel. And that was just a random person, not even somebody that's here in the gallery. It was a random person that said they liked the natural feel of leaving it the size it is.
Juan.
Yeah. You might put your mic on.
Wow.
Hello, now? I just have a question for the widening versus non-widening. It seems like the problem is the scooters and the electric bikes and that kind of stuff. My question is, the people that are against widening the path, if they agree to widen the path, but bar the electric bikes and the scooters and everything else, is that I just want to know, I'm not taking a position on it, I just want to know.
First,
guys, 1 second.
Who's gonna enforce it? Who's going to enforce it? There's no barbecuing allowed, yet there's barbecuing going on. Who's gonna enforce any of that?
All right.
Make it wider, you're inviting them to basically go riding on there.
All right.
Okay, let's have,
So just,
everybody has a right to their discussion.
Please.
just.
No, so, no, hold on, so,
All right,
okay, so what Malcolm said is we're doing round robin, right? Or whatever you want, one person at a time. I know Juan had a question, I don't, we want him to respond to Debbie?
Yeah, let me respond.
I just want to be clear, so
Yes, I know, Tiz, Rich,
the people that are opposed to widening will be opposed to widening no matter what, even if the electric bikes are barred, except, okay, great, that's all I wanted to know.
okay, Tiz?
And then Ryan.
Okay, the people that were here in favor of widening it were not community members. They were from Community Board 10. The wishes of the people who live in that area need to come first. Not from people that come from City Island or Throgs Neck. That's not their neighborhood. And why are we taking away grass and adding more concrete? We don't need more concrete.
Brian?
Can we take a roll call vote?
Wait.
No, I mean, let me just say this real quick. Yeah. The folks in committee approved this, yes or no? In this committee? Yes or no? Okay, all right, that's one. So this committee, I think we should just vote. Everyone has different opinions. Let's see how this rolls out. That's just my opinion. Yeah, that's all. Personally, I don't want to widen because I run it every day and the scooters are crazy.
Brian?
So they're there now.
Yeah,
They're there now anyways.
as has been mentioned, the scooters are there. They are a problem. I ride up and down that all the time. I am a member of the community. It is too narrow. Even having two people walking side by side, which is pretty common, there's not enough room for a cyclist to pass safely. Oftentimes they don't respond to a bell. They don't respond to a call. We do what we can. I'm in favor of widening it, but first and foremost needs resurfacing. Another option to, as one of the Friends of Pelham Parkway mentioned, they don't want this street traffic on there. Pelham Parkway is an 8-lane road. If you take both directions, 8 vehicle lanes of travel, that's more than the Bruckner, that's more than the Deegan, that's more than the Hutch, that's more than the Bronx River Parkway. Take one of those and give it to the cyclists and the e-bikes and the scooters and all of that. Get them off of the pathway. The people say you're not adding any concrete and you're getting a safer environment for everybody.
Great idea.
But call the question.
There's some discussion, I'd like to make one statement on this. Hear me? Hello? Yeah. Number one, I think the e-bikes are already banned, theoretically banned from the path. It hasn't been enforced. They're already banned, so widening it wouldn't make a difference. They're going to ignore it anyways.
All right, Malcolm, you want to call, or Debbie, can you
We'll call the question.
call the question, as Malcolm said? So any abstentions or against? Or roll call vote? Yeah, we should do a roll call vote, right? Well, yeah, we can say who's against and abstain, and then if necessary, we do a roll call vote, right? So can you restate the motion for everybody?
The motion is for the Parks Department to resurface the pedestrian path of Pelham Parkway, but do not widen it from White Plains Road to Stillwell Avenue.
That's against? We don't have a second?
Any against?
I'm against it.
I'm against. Cool.
Against.
We have to do roll call.
Are there going to be abstentions after that? I think we're good. So against is Malcolm. Next, who's next? Miguel. So that's 2. Then Jeanette, 3. Christine, 4. Angel, 5. No, all right. Now we got to do a roll call because we got more hands. Hold on. All right, hold on. Okay, so we start with the officers unless they want to go in the end. If it doesn't matter to you guys, all right. Girls, whatever. All right, so who's in favor of Bernadette? Yes, against, or abstain? For the motion or against it? Okay.
I think you are explaining the motion again.
No, we don't know what it is.
So, can you just restate the motion one more time, Debbie?
The motion that the Parks Department resurface the pedestrian path on Pelham Parkway and not widen it from White Plains Road to Stillwell Avenue.
Okay, that's clear for everyone, right?
They don't want to.
All right, so Burnett's in favor. Veronica? Favor? Hazel? In favor? Malcolm against?
Against.
Edgar? Against? Ryan?
Against.
Wendy?
Yes.
So in favor? Junior? Against? Christine, against? Stacy Ann, against? Angel, against? Miguel, against? Averill? Against? Rabbi? Oh, he's in favor. Ken Galnick?
In favor.
Kenneth Galnick?
In favor.
In favor. D1? Debbie? In favor? Juan? Roger? Oh, yeah, he had to leave, he had to work or something like that. Serena? Phyllis? Naomi? First abstention. Edward?
Abstain.
Susan? She. Sherrado, did he leave? Okay. Keith? Left? Richard? In favor? Cynthia? Eliezer? Joanne Rubino? Harry Oral? Lisa Soto?
I'm in favor.
Joseph Thompson? Sandra Unger? Janice Walcott? Favor? Dwayne Williams?
In favor.
Jeanette Wilson against? Right? All right, so let me just.
It's that nice smile it is.
So. 11, yeah, it carries, because there are 2 abstentions. All right, so motion carries. 22 in favor, 11 against, 2 abstentions.
Okay. Is there anything else from the Parks Department committee before we move on?
agree with Junior. Move on.
Okay, I'm moving on. I don't get an answer. Okay, everyone, please. All right, next is the Leadership Committee report. I'm going to hand this over to explain what the DEI Committee Breaking Bread event is. Cynthia, would you like to do this? Or Malcolm?
Hello, everybody. So the DEI committee is seeking to do a Breaking Bread Building Bonds event within our community. Basically, this event initiative was started with the mayor's office. So pretty much we reached out to the mayor's office to request funding to provide an event in which we are able to bring our community together. We are aware that due to specific world issues and some community issues that there has been, fights or disagreements, and we believe that in order to help mend those disagreements and mend those bridges, that we would like to have an event where we will invite people to come in and break bread. So we will be going back to the committee next month to discuss it further, the logistics of it, and then next month we will present most likely the full thing to everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next committee report is Community Development and Budget Priorities. Serena?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So my report is pretty quick. We are on track to meet the deadline for October 31st to submit our fiscal year 25 community development and budgetary priorities budget. And the second line item is that we will be celebrating the second annual CB11 Juneteenth and Father's Day Cookout 2025, and we will be, no, 2024, I'm sorry, I'm thinking fiscal budget, 2024, and we will be coming to the board to ask for monetary support as soon as we know exactly where the venue is going to be, but I just wanted to give everyone a heads up, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next committee report is Education, Culture, and Youth Services. Phyllis?
We are going to be having a school supply replenishment event in February. Details are still in the works, and we'll let everybody know. We don't know yet.
So there's no information on the youth leadership? Is there, what's the deadline?
It's in January 31st.
Yeah, we've gotten no applications yet. And then I'm still following up on the Bronx Times thing. I mean, I'm trying to get it from my colleague at Community Board 10.
We have no applications?
We've received no applications thus far. So if you're a member of a civic association, whether it's Morris Park, Van Ness, whatever, please submit applications. This is for the Youth Leadership Award. Please speak to us after the meeting. It's a $750 stipend for any youth 14 to age 21. We talk to us after the meeting.
Also, the information is also on the Bronx Community Board 11 website. So this is a great opportunity. This is a wonderful opportunity for any youth between 14 and 21, right? So that has done community service. It's great for seniors, and it's something that if you know of a family that has a youth, then speak to the civic association that's close to you. Say, look, would you submit this via your civic association? This is not something that should be passed up, and I think this is the first year we might have had no applications yet. So we need to really get out there, speak to our youth. This is a golden opportunity.
A quick
Okay.
question. This question. Is that something we can put on Facebook?
Oh, it has been on Facebook.
Is it? Okay.
But also has been an ad in the Bronx Times Reporter.
No, not yet.
We haven't done that? No, we'll talk about that later. Okay.
May I?
Our next committee report is ethics.
I just had a quick idea, and I don't know who would want to join me, but I think that we need to get a little bit more grassroots with this. I mean, we've done Facebook, we've done, contacting our, electeds and the principals that we know, but would we consider actually like going to the train stations and, kind of passing out, doing some flyering and talking to the kids ourselves that come off the trains at 8 o'clock or that are going into the schools, talking to them, informing them directly? Because really, we're missing the boat. We didn't even have one person last year. Just
No,
thought.
we did have applicants last year. They just didn't show up for the actual game. And the person applying needs to be sponsored by one of the community organizations. So you can't just hand in an application for your child. You have to go through one of the organizations.
I don't know if that's on the memorandum, but yeah, I mean, that's how it used to be, but
So,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
We had.
There
at
were,
least-
so hold on, sorry, Tiz. There were changes when Diane Norris in her last term as chairperson of that committee. But I don't know since then if the committee has reviewed the memorandum. The committee should review the memorandum, make tweaks if necessary.
Last year, we did receive about 8 applications, if I'm not mistaken, and 5 were chosen. Just that those 5 didn't come to the actual game for the ceremony, but they did receive the $750.
If I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, the original day of the game was that Father's
It was small.
You know.
It was that Wednesday with the orange fog.
Right.
All right, so we'll just go back to it and get back to it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, the next committee is the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. Naomi?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I just wanted to give my committee a very big hand of applause. We have finalized our last case. We have no cases at this time after 2 years. Okay. Just wanted to commend everyone in working with me, and I really appreciate you. Case 109 will be sent to leadership next month. And I just wanted to also state that we will be doing some community events for the community. So next month, we're going to have the Conflict of Interest Board come and join us. So please bring your questions to the party. Please do not be late. They are very punctual people. So it starts at 7, and please bring your questions and your concerns. Next, in December, we're having a meeting etiquette. I feel it's very important. A meeting etiquette presentation I am going to be presenting. I think it's important to understand how to present yourself in a meeting because it can be a violation in ethics and disciplinary. So I just want to make sure that everybody has those standards and understand how you should be presenting yourself in a meeting. Lastly, I just got the okay. It's called Case Closed, and this organization helps individuals who have an arrest on their record. And if you have an arrest on your record, they can help you remove it. So they will be coming January or February to speak to us. Okay, so thank you very much. So just, if you have other ideas related to ethics and disciplinary actions or anything like that, please contact me and I will see if I can put something together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, next is Health and Social Services. Sandy?
Good evening, everyone. You heard from the 2 speakers earlier who made presentations. That was part of our meeting. Since we did not have a quorum and we had the hybrid, we could not make a motion to support Aria's proposal, which I'll do at new business. That's it. And hopefully everyone will be at the next meeting. I have 2 very important speakers coming.
Thank you. Our next committee report is Land Use. Ken Gelnick?
Yeah, hi, good evening, everybody. On November 2nd, we are going to be having a joint meeting with the Housing Committee. I believe it's at 6:30. It's next Thursday. This is on the City of Yes proposals. And everybody should come because this is going to be a major overhaul of this, basically a major overhaul of the city's zoning regulations. And that everybody should attend either in person or online. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
No, the City of Yes, I don't know if you had a chance to read this report done by Edward. It's an excellent report on the ideas you can use for City of Yes, but the City of Yes is very important. As an architect, I kind of understand what they're trying to do, dealing with carbon neutrality, economic opportunities, and housing opportunities. So if you can look it up on the internet to get further information on it, I think you should. I think it's a really good opportunity for us to understand what's going to happen in the future, especially for the Bronx and different boroughs. Yeah, yeah. So this is some of it here. You can print it out and read up about the carbon neutrality, which is changing how we use our homes even. Our gas stoves are going to be eliminated soon. Even so, a lot of things are happening. And just so many things that you should try to really get into and understand. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next committee report is public safety. Veronica.
No. Oh, Phyllis, me. Phyllis.
Go right ahead.
I'm trying to get the scooter company representatives to join us for our public safety meeting. I've already emailed 2 of them. I will also follow up with calls. Hopefully, we can get some answers as to why there's no enforcement, why scooters are being left in front of people's homes. They're trip hazards. They're just all over the place and it's a mess. So hopefully they'll come and answer some of our questions. That's it.
Okay. Okay, our next committee report is sanitation and environmental protection. Avril?
Good evening, everyone. I don't anything to share at this moment, just waiting on the motion with sanitation and transportation, so we can meet, come together, finalize what we need to do. So for tonight, this is my report.
I love that.
Okay, very good. Our next committee report is transportation.
Rabbi.
Is Roger still here?
Oh, yeah. All right, goodness.
Oh, yeah, we had discussed, the Metro North, they came to our meeting and we asked, them a bunch of questions. But for our next meeting, we are asking that DOT come and talk about this,
Metro North.
no, this thing that they did on Bronxdale, because I don't even know what to call it. It's a disaster. I know it's a road diet, but to me, it's a disaster. The date that we had given them was not good for them, and they said that they were going to just send us information, but I don't want information. I want them to come in person and answer our questions and tell us exactly what a difference this has made. So, Debbie, is there anything else? Did you want to say something? Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next is our committee report is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Cynthia?
Oh, Cynthia's not here.
Christine.
It's Christine. So I just want to say that I was really pleased with our first meeting. It was really a well-attended meeting and a very productive meeting. I think the main agenda on the item was the diversity training, and we discussed that we had reached out to a couple of entities. Still haven't heard back from them, but we're going to continue to do that. Also, we discussed a bill that was introduced into the City Council called Intro 1206. And I'm happy to say that not only is Riley's office, City Council Member Riley's office, a sponsor of this, but we also reached out to Marjorie Velasquez, City Council Member Marjorie Velasquez, and Oswald Felice's office, and they both also signed on to this legislation. And if you don't know what it is, quickly, it's just legislation that would amend the administrative code in relation to requiring the borough president to provide equal employment opportunity trainings, anti-sexual harassment, and anti-discrimination trainings. So, and we also had discussions, I'm sorry. We also had some discussions on a couple of items, one being, the Allerton Coops, sort of an outing that community outing that we're planning, possibly for Black History Month. Also, we discussed alternating locations for, committee meetings, and we decided that we would be the first ones, to implement that. We also had a community member speak on a proposal initiative that she proposed, a really wonderful idea. It's a conversational classes, and she asked for our support on that. We also had another community member, Zaid Naji, who is from the Yemeni community, also talk about his community a little bit, and invited us to do a walkthrough with him throughout his community. That's it. Thank you.
All right, so I'll just remind everybody that the email went out regarding the bylaw proposals. If you haven't done it yet, you need to ASAP. We only have 24 out of 38 responses. We had 38 members here tonight. We only have 24 responses. So if you didn't get the email, please let me know. All right, but please fill out the survey.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, also, our board member, Angel Diaz, has organized a men's health fair, and he also asked for our support on that. And there's information that he has available with him today to pass out to everybody. So thank you.
Okay, we are going to move on to our elected officials. So we'll start, is there a representative for the Borough President's office? Okay.
Thanks. Hello. Oh, there. Thank you. First, I was following, First, I was following virtually. We had 3 meetings today, Committee Board 1 and the Borough President had a diva. So I was following, but I raced over here knowing that the meeting was going to be still on. So, and I'm an old Community Board 11 member, so, welcome back. BP, the Chair Ferrara, DM Wernicke, and distinguished members, BP has been working with the Mayor's Office, the Bronx DA, and NYPD regarding the violence with our murder victims in those gang-related shootings. We endured the murder of a 1-year-old child in a daycare overdose and fentanyl. The ghost gun 3D printed in another daycare center. We've been working with the Mayor's Office, FDNY, on an e-bike scooter fire safety. We're supportive of Councilmember Felice's legislation to work with our e-bikes to make sure that there's mitigation. We've been working with our governmental colleagues on getting supplies. Department of City Planning text amendment, City of Yes. The pain has to go across the board, so it's not, sometimes we get into our NIMBYism and everything. And sometimes some communities are very saturated. So we're working with trying to make sure that we have green rules, we have other ways of cooling down apartments, different ways of heating. So we're very supportive of that. There's a YouTube presentation that you can get. We want to welcome, so I will be the representative for Community Board 11, so I'm back home again. There's an open meetings law training at YouTube. CB held the swearing in for the new members. We welcome the new members. We had an appreciation barbecue in honor of our own, honoring our CB Parks chair, Madam Walcott. Also, this month has been a very, very sobering, robust domestic violence awareness month and gender-based violence. We started with the Brides March from Manhattan to the Bronx. We had social media launch on the 1st. We had a press conference with the DA's office regarding the Department of Justice grant. We had on Tuesday Diva Spa, where we were hosting manicures and beauty, hairdressing for all the people that are survivors and thrivers of domestic violence, as well as the people that have been working with that community. Today, we had Diva Talk. I was part of that as well, so sorry again for my lateness. And as well, we've been collaborating with the 5K walk. And today was Diva Talk focusing on femicide. So we know that in the Bronx, it has been the epicenter of the epicenter in domestic violence. It's gone up 59%. Disproportionate women of color, Black, Latina, Southeast Asian, we're very affected by this. The age demographics is startling. 0 to 10 years old in homicide, #1. So the borough president has been very hard on this, trying to get this going. We also have the Bronx HIV and the epidemic roundtables. They're gonna have a march tomorrow that was postponed from last week at Borough Hall tomorrow at 1 o'clock, November 16. End the Stigma Symposium at Lincoln Hospital. The Bronx LGBTQIA Task Force also had National Coming Out Day, and today is Intersex Awareness Day. Housing Diabetes Task Force, Health and Wellness. Our Bundsman unit is Suite 123 in 851 Grand Concourse, which is Borough Hall. The number is 718-590-3500, 718-590-3500. My number is 347-213-0375, 347-213-0375. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. If you could send a message back to the borough president's office.
Yes.
That the community boards are working very hard to get answers and to be on top of the city as the economic opportunity. And I know that there is a letter that has been circulated to our board members here from Brooklyn Community Board 11 for all 59 community boards to request that the time to respond and to do their due diligence should be extended to 90 days and not 60 days. Okay, so I don't know if that letter has gotten to the borough president's office, but the importance for community boards to do their due diligence should be duly noted. And there's a lot to go over. There's a lot of questions with not many answers. So we all want to do our best. But 60 days, ending it at December 31st in the midst of Christmas, Hanukkah, holiday seasons is really insensitive to the community. In my opinion, I don't speak for the full board. Hopefully, the whole board will be coming back with something sent from Community Board 11. I just want you to be aware.
Duly noted, Madam Chair. I will definitely be making extensive notes, and I will hang out until after the meeting. So if anybody wants to talk to me, I will definitely be here available. So thank you again for allowing me to speak.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, are there any other representatives? We'll go down the line. Councilmember Velasquez's office, is there a representative? Thank you.
Thought I got an extra 5. Speak. I haven't talked yet.
We can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, you can hear me.
Okay, now we can.
I didn't say anything yet. So hi, everybody. I'm Jackie. I'm Councilmember Velasquez's Chief of Staff. I just want to talk about, first, I know that there was a gentleman here who brought up our participatory budgeting last year with the water fountains on Pelham Parkway. Obviously, there is the reconstruction project. That funding has still been allocated and it's still going through the design and construction phase. Obviously, with water fountain, there's significant infrastructure that needs to be added. It does take a little bit of time, but please bear with us and be patient. And I did address it with him before he left, so he is aware. I just was also saying it for the record this evening. In the past month, we've had a lot of really successful events. One of them was free mammograms over at Bronx House. We also just had a lithium-ion battery committee hearing, including Councilmember Felice's bill, as well as some other ones to address both public safety and general safety and fire concerns that have arisen. We actually had it the day after there were some injuries, I believe in Sunset Park, after a lithium-ion battery potentially caught fire. The fire is still under investigation. I also wanted to acknowledge the chair's appreciative remarks about our joint town hall with Assemblymember Zaccaro. We think it was really successful and super informative. And if anybody has any questions, again, feel free to reach out. DCWP was there, OCM, as well as the sheriff's office, but we're always here to answer more questions if anybody needs. A few upcoming events as well. Tomorrow we will have the Department of Buildings in our office from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If anybody has any questions, they're more than welcome to set up an appointment or to just call us. This Saturday, in partnership with Community Board 11, as well as a lot of other electeds, we're having a Halloween and Dia de los Muertos festival starting at 5 p.m. Disney's Coco will be the movie Under the Stars that evening. In CB11 on Sunday at Bronx State, we're doing a street co-naming for former Community 10 member Sylvia Lass, who's a great advocate for mental health in our community. And so everybody's invited if they'd like to come out. And then really quick, next week, we also have a Fall Harvest Festival at the New York City Parks. There will also be a DOT helmet fitting. So free helmets for anybody who'd like to come out, but also really great events for all the kids and families to come out for at the Playground for All. So thank you guys. I have flyers if anybody wants, but I'll leave them on the table over there.
Good. All right, thank you. If there is a representative from Councilmember Felice's office here, going once, online.
So Kathleen, what's that? Who? Okay, Kathleen was on. All right, so do we have somebody from Riley's office? Is that what we said?
I said Riley.
I was asking
Who?
Lisa's office.
Yeah, okay, Riley's office. Yeah, I mean, I don't see her. Kathleen was.
Okay,
As well.
you're up.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, so my name is Cynthia. I am the Director of Constituent Services and Legislative Coordinator for Councilmember Kevin C. Riley. Just to go over the quick basics, phone number is 718-684-5509. Email is district12, that's district12@council.nyc.gov. We have 2 district offices, one at 940 East Gun Hill Road and 135 Einstein Loop. I'm going to start with a legislative update, actually. So I'm excited to announce that Councilmember Riley recently introduced Resolution 817-2023, which calls upon the MTA to change the transfer options from one charge within a 2-hour period to allow unlimited transfers within that window, and ideally ease access for those that rely on the system most. This ultimately will be up to the state, but we want to urge the MTA to take action, especially after the Bronx Bus redesign, where many communities here in the Northeast Bronx became 2 fare zones, and riders are taking more buses and complex trips. While we must advocate for better access in these communities, we also deserve to benefit from existing service. Additionally, I want to share information about Introduction 1131-2023, which would transfer enforcement of unlicensed mobile car washes from the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection to the Department of Sanitation. Allow the Department of Sanitation to more comprehensively take enforcement action, whereas DCWP doesn't necessarily always have those resources available. This just had a hearing this week, and we hope that there will be edits, and we are very hopeful that it will pass. In regards to the budget, we are also a participant of participatory budgeting in the New York City Council. Idea collection is through November 11th. You can do so online at linktr.ee/Riley with a capital R, budget with a capital B. And we will be voting on these proposals in the spring. 2 events, real quick, I know I have 30 seconds. Both on this Saturday, October 18th at 12 p.m., we are having 2 Halloween events, one at the Northeast Bronx YMCA and one at the Bay Plaza.
Okay, fantastic. You got it all in there. Thank you so much. All right, is there a representative from the mayor's office? Online. Go right ahead, Alina.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Alina Dow. I'm the Bronx Borough Director for the Mayor's Community Affairs. I would be there in person, but I am off because tomorrow is my birthday. I did want to share, please, we're encouraging everyone to sign up to text with the mayor. I'll provide the link with Jeremy so that he can put it on your on the website. Also, please sign up for the mayor's newsletter. There's a lot of good things that are happening, but a lot of times you don't get to hear about it. If you're signed up, you'll find out about it firsthand. Also, the city FEPS voucher is now being able to be used outside of New York City. So if you are in communication with people that are in the shelter or they have a voucher and they haven't been able to find an apartment here in New York City, please let them know that they will be able to look for housing outside of New York City. In addition to that, people that are looking for apartments that have city FEPS vouchers, they are not going to be able to use their bad credit against them. So if someone has or reports that someone's using, saying that their credit is bad and that's why they can't get an apartment, please make sure to report that right away. And like all the time, I always say, please use 311 to report things. I know it's a frustrating process, but we are following up on them. And that's how the mayor is able to see about some of the complaints. You mentioned that you want to have, you're hosting a men's health fair. Please, I can help. So if you want to, you can contact me. I put my information in the chat, and Jeremy also has my contact information, as well as the Breaking Bread Building Bonds that comes out of my office. So I'll be more than willing to assist with that as well. And as far as, if the illegal, if you think that you have an illegal shop, which you have to have an illegal cannabis shop because we only have one in the Bronx, so all of the others are illegal, please make sure to report it to 311 and then contact myself with that complaint number, and I'll make sure to get you in touch with the sheriff's office. I was with, they had a town hall, and I understand the process, and the sheriffs are really working hard to make sure that anyone that's selling any illegal cannabis is being held accountable. And as far as the Zingerman Park, I did reach out to Parks, and what happened was, I'm not sure what happened 8 years ago. I can only talk about what's going on now with this administration. The Parks did receive an approval from the councilman, but however, then the maps changed. And the park.
Alina, hold on. She is talking about Zimmerman, so chair gets her more time, or how do we do that? What?
No, that's fine. I can have my 2 minutes afterwards.
Yeah, I'm assuming everybody's okay. Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Just want to make sure everybody understands. Go ahead, Alina. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just explaining that I did reach out to the commissioner about the park, but the issue was that with funding. Is there a question? I can't hear anyone. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I said.
So sorry for that.
So what did you hear last?
Just start again, Zimmerman.
Oh, okay. So
you don't know what happened 8 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what happened 8 years ago, but I can talk about what happened most recently, and that was that one of the local councilmen, I guess, did approve the funding to cover the cost, but then the maps got cut and changed, and then now that particular park is in another councilman's district. But I'll be willing to, I can have a meeting with you guys about this offline so we can go into it further. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, is there a representative from the comptroller's office here? Anyone online? No, I think that's a no. From the public advocate's office? Bronx. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Hello, can I speak? Sorry. Okay, great. My name is Stacy Jeffries. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, hi. Okay, sure. So my name is Stacy Jeffries. It's an honor to be representing the Community Board 11 of the district I grew up in. So that's great. So I'm going to start with the legislative updates. The City Council recently passed our legislation to require dyslexia screenings for people incarcerated in city jails. The measure will help to expand educational and health services, improve programming inside city jails, and reduce recidivism upon release. This is included in the public advocate now passed 21 bills since taking office, with many more working their way through the legislative process. Our worst landlords watch list comes out before the end of the year. If you have any violations in your building, remember to report them to HPD by calling 311. The watch, and also to watch Ask the Advocate on News 12. Tune into News 12 Bronx, Brooklyn, or online to watch our monthly segment, Ask the Advocate, live every third Monday of the month from 7 to 7:30 p.m., where he answers questions on the air. As well as stay in touch with our office. I do have get help cards, as well as our number is 833-933-1692. I also do have voting registration. The number, yes. 833-933-1692. Okay, yeah. And I do have voter registration papers in different languages such as Russian, Spanish, English, Arabic, if anybody would like any. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. I will go down the line, but are there any other representatives? Oh, okay. Please come on up.
Going down the line, yeah, the elected officials like this.
Good evening, y'all. I'm just going to give a couple of general updates with everything going on. The Department of State is carrying out assisted departure operations, including chartering flights from Bin Gurion Airport to safe third countries from Israel. The Department of State has advised any U.S. citizen with a valid passport who wants to depart to head to that airport. You can get in touch with the U.S. Embassy over there in safe third countries by going to travel.state.gov. So if you have any constituents that are over there in Israel that want to leave, go to travel.state.gov as the website, and it'll give you the toll and local numbers that they can use over there. Yesterday, the House of Representatives voted in a new Speaker of the House, Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana. Legislative activities may resume, including and most importantly, figuring out and passing a government spending bill ahead of the November 17th deadline. As y'all know, there's 12 appropriations bills. They have to be passed in order to pass a new budget. And so we'll see if the government gets shut down again. I wanted to say the American Climate Corps, a program to employ 20,000 people in renewable energy and climate resilience sector, which the Congresswoman has been a leader in, has already received 42,000 people signing up since September. So that's a very good sign. Fourthly, the Department of Health and Human Services from the U.S. announced nearly $3.7 billion in low-income home energy assistance program funds to help lower heating costs for American families this winter. So if you have any questions, you can call our office, and you can call our office at the number that I'm about to give you right here, 718-662-5970. I'll say that more slow, 718-662-5970. And again, for any of the organizations or anyone on the board who has any notices for events, you can call that number, ask for Renee, and let me know, and I will try to my best to be there. Renee Castellanos. I can give that to you later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other representatives?
That's it.
Any other representatives online? Okay, anyone from the state senator's offices? Who? Stars, what is it, Star? Got your hand up?
Hi, sorry.
Okay. Are you a representative? Are you a representative? Okay. Okay, there's another person with their hand up. Oh, I think it's the same number. Okay, so I'll just go down it. U.S. Representative Torres's office, State Senator Fernandez, State Senator Bailey, State Senator Rivera, Assembly Member Zaccaro, Assembly Member Heasty, Assembly Member Benedetto, and Assembly Member Reyes's office. If there is anybody here as a representative, please stand up. And if not, okay, I'm going to hand this over at this point to you. Is there any other thing that has to,
We have motion.
where are we at with that?
We have the motion.
And I think Rich has a motion.
Yeah, I think it's just.
Yeah, we have. I hope we haven't, I hope we have enough people here. I would like to make a motion on behalf of the Health Committee to send a letter of support to keep the health benefits and not go to Advantage Medicare plan for retirees of New York City. That was what Aurea earlier spoke about. I know I have the letter, or I sent it to, he sent to all of the city council members, et cetera. So I would hope you would approve the motion so that we second it. Everybody, great, it's passed.
By Malcolm.
Malcolm, you have a problem.
No, you seconded it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Are there any abstentions? I don't think there's any.
No. Because all this will eventually, for any city worker, impact on them later on.
Sandy, you gotta finish it though.
All right,
Finish the motion.
any discussion, anyone against the motion,
Any abstentions?
any abstentions?
Any abstentions?
It's late.
Okay, that's unanimous then.
Okay, so the motion passes.
Thank you. And I know we have the letter. Oh, wait.
Rich had.
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
it.
Was here and Joe.
No, this week's.
Okay, so everybody want to hear the results for the bylaws proposal? So 63.9% is in favor of the committees electing their own chair, minus the co-chair. So that was Cynthia's proposal. 25% was preferred neither proposal, and then 11.1% preferred the Naomi's proposal.
Which one won?
11.1. So the first one passes.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, 63.9%.
Okay.
Yeah, how, you know, that's. Should have voted no. Should have voted for two.
So any other whole business, new business, at Burn? Anybody?
One question, how does it affect the chairs now? The current chairs?
It's moving forward. Yeah, it would not be retroactive. That would be chaos. At Perez?
Oh, but it's new business. I think I just skipped over a step if you want to review old business, but I do have.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's any old business, we'll move to new business. Ed?
I want to make a motion to go into executive committee to discuss our board's leadership.
So they want to go into executive session to discuss the board's leadership. Well, hold on. Let's just clarify that motion.
I gotta go.
So I just want to make sure we're clear, it's clear enough, right? Because I'm not sure that would be, again, I don't want anybody to come back at us and say you have to redo it, like they did in my evaluation in 2019. Hold on. Um, this is not, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe we can just go. I don't know.
No, you gotta vote for
Yeah,
it.
I know.
I
I know. I just,
Get to it then.
yeah. All right, hold on. I know where it is. I just gotta go. It's not good enough just to discuss leadership. It's. What's that? Okay, so you want to talk about demotion. Okay. So, all right, so that's a second. Any against or abstaining? So we can do if there's a quorum call, we could just do it real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20. That's quorum. So, okay, so who's against?
And if I leave, that's the quorum, because I gotta get up for work in 5 hours.
Okay, if you need to leave, leave. So against? Any others? Any abstentions? Against? So four, maybe 5 against. Any abstentions? We're not voting. We're voting for executive session. Well, there was a motion to go into executive session. So, speaking of that.
We wanted to discuss this in private, to be honest with you. But since everybody has to leave, we'll just force a vote. So I make a motion to put on the next month's agenda to discuss the demotion of Bernadette as chair and Al D'Angelo as vice chair. Do I have a second? All opposed? Ed Perez.
Wait, say it again. So, restate the motion, please.
The motion is to put on the agenda for next month the demotion of chair of Bernard Ferrara and Al D'Angelo as vice chair. Do I have a second?
I second.
Second by Ed Perez. Any against? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against, 7. Yeah, it's easier that way.
Come out. He doesn't make a call.
They left already.
He doesn't make a call.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we do a roll call or we, so we don't have to, but
How you gonna do? I get those saying yes or no.
well, we have to name the names of against and then everybody else. I mean, it would be smart to do roll call because
Let's do roll call.
Rabbi left, who do we know who's still here?
Is it?
All right, just bear with us.
You do have quorum.
Well, we'll find out if we have a quorum at the end, huh? All right. So it was seconded. Speaking of mic, please. Microphone, please.
Was brought up in new business.
It is discussion phase.
If we would have known about this earlier, there would have been people that would not have left. But to bring it up at 11 o'clock at night, I think it's a
New
bit unfair.
business. It's new business.
Any other discussion?
I called the question.
I can't hear you. There's something wrong with the audio. Favor.
Second, motion adjourns.
Thank you.
Anybody against or saying, all right. So the meeting ends at 11:07 PM.
You know this exactly who.
Charlie.